Well, hello there, friends, and welcome to the virtual show, the only late night, the latest night VR talk show that I know of. I'm your host, Wes. With me, as always, my good friend Roots, and today, a special guest. What's the cause of all this, you guys might be asking? Well, it's because we decided that we're going to try to have an impromptu special guest. And Anthony, I want to thank you for hanging in there while we try to figure out all of this stuff. And thanks for coming on the show to talk some VR with us.
Yeah, man, we were both on the gamer tag stream a little bit earlier today, and I was like, "Oh, that would be fun to hop on the show and talk about what's going on with today is a big day for VR." And but yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it. I'm ready to just go right into it. Let's see.
He's been holding in this rant for like 4 or 5 hours, people. It's had time to ruminate, and he's ready to go. What about Roots? How are you doing tonight, bud?
Flustered, clusterfuck. What's funny is we didn't have a gamer last time we did this with three people on Zoom. We had a gamer tag here that knows
A
like
gamer
how to
tag.
tweak
A
things.
gamer tag.
Yeah, we didn't. I had all the scenes set up. I thought ready to go, and none of it is all messed up. It's all jank. But we're gonna do it this way. So if you think things look different, they do, and it's because it's special. It's a special episode of Virtual Strangers in the Night. So.
Yeah, so we basically, if you're wondering why we're some 20 minutes late now getting on, we're trying to make it all pretty for you, all nice looking. And at the end of the day, we just said, you know what? People weren't coming to us for the production value anyway. So we're just going to go on here and hit them with the VR conversation. That's what everybody's here for anyway, right?
Yeah, Drilla wants to know where does he get one of those cool swarm shirts? I think that no, it was James. James said that. He wants to know where
Yeah,
does he acquire one?
Yeah, I got this. I ordered it from their Teespring page that I linked to through their Discord. So, if you want to order one, hit me up on Discord after the show. Link is in the description, and I'll get you the link for it. I ordered it. The game wasn't out yet when I ordered it. I ordered it like 2 weeks before the game came out, and the thing never showed up. Like the tracking number lost it. From it got handed off from DHL to the post office, and DHL said they handed it off. The post office said we don't have it yet, and it was like that for weeks. And I tried to get call and have them send me another, and they told me that like I had to wait like a month before they would even help me.
Mm.
And on the last day, I'm coming home from work and I say, you know what? I'm about to call these guys and I know it's not in the mail, but I'm going to stop and check just so I can say I checked and it wasn't here today. And on the very last day, it showed up and I finally had my shirt after 6 weeks after ordering it. But with that said, it's a nice quality, soft t-shirt, looks cool. And it was only like $15 or something like that.
Wow.
So I'm happy with it.
Is it as cool as the game is? Because the game is badass, in my
Yeah. Well, what
opinion.
is as cool as the game?
Not much.
I mean, honestly,
It's
have you
actually
have you tried the Swarm yet, Anthony?
No, I have not. I don't get to play a lot of games as much as I used to. It's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you, man. And like, I mean, it's not that I don't get to play a lot of the games, but I don't get to play them for very long anymore because it seems like we're always on to the next. And so many good games coming out now. I was telling you before the show that like there aren't a lot of bad ones anymore. Like there's the ones that used to be average are good now, and the ones that used to be good are great now. And uh,
The
there's
Asgard's
so
effect.
well,
Is it
well,
really
dude.
true?
it's the games though, bro. Like, I don't know if you've tried Crashland either, but those two games, I keep telling people, they have to be, in my opinion, the best Quest games of the year so far.
Wow.
The gameplay is so fucking good. It's so amazing. Crashland, it does. I mean, it's one developer that made it, right, Wes? And he's a AI,
Yeah.
literal AI genius. He teaches it, right? And it's just so good. Both of them are gems, and I would recommend them all day long. And
Yeah,
Radio Run
man.
agrees. Best game of the year.
And I don't think that it's, I mean, I'm sure Asgard's effect raising the bar has something to do with it. But I mean, there's a lot more wealth of experience among the developers now that we're not in Gen 1 VR anymore. So everyone kind of has a bit more of an idea what to do now. And beyond that, the game engines themselves have evolved and have incorporated VR elements into them as well. So I think it's just kind of a basic maturing of the platform, and it shows. You know, even like the most indie of indie game, uh, the ones that make it through to us anyway, generally turn out to be pretty good. Now, with that said, you can go on side quests, you can go on App Lab, and still find some good old fashioned indie tech demos on there.
Port Infinity. Actually, Anthony, I forgot you'll never try Crashland because the first planet you
Giant
land on
spider.
is there's spiders that are attacking you. There's this dude, there's this one, I call it
But
the
if they're
Screecher.
not Earth looking, are
Dude,
they alien looking?
well, no, they look like Earth ones, but that okay, so there's this one they call that I call it the Screecher, and it shoots the spider webs at you. And if it gets you with the spider web, it comes barreling, screaming, and that's the whole thing. It's like, okay, the first level, you're 3 minutes, you gotta wait. You gotta try to last to get off the planet, right? It gets to like 9-10 minutes, and it's just constant shit's coming every which way. You're constantly moving around trying to survive. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
but
have
you
to
know,
concur.
you guys are talking about 2 Quest games and the bar being raised, and it's definitely going to be raised on that platform because that platform's where the money is. So everybody's going to go there and they're going to try their hardest over there. What about PCVR though? Because one worry that I have is like, are we going to return to the days of all these like amateur hour things, you know, that we had in the early days of VR? Like we started to get this higher level of quality, but then, well, I guess obviously we're going to be talking about Oculus and what are they doing? Like, where are they going with all this stuff? It is so weird, right?
PCVR, Port City VR, because that's what PC is about to become. Port City. Uh, I mean, right now people are kind of on the down in the dumps because the ports that are going to be coming to PCVR are going to be Quest ports. But I think after a year and a half goes by, when we start to get some PlayStation VR 2 action going on, then we're going to see some better looking multi-platform games.
Yeah, it's going to be so bizarre that the PlayStation 2 VR games is probably where you're going to have to go for the most the most AAA high-end VR experiences. That's actually where you're going to have to go. How crazy is that?
Yeah, yeah. How quickly things change, huh? And you know, there's going to be PC stuff too, but I think what you're saying is right in one sense. I do think that it is going to be indie studios that very much keep keep PCVR alive and well. But as I was saying a moment ago, the not only have the great games gotten better, but so have the bottom, you know, the average and good games. They're getting better as well. So that's not such a bad thing. And you know, Steam's always going to be the easiest place to publish, right? So like these smaller studios who really need to get a game out more quickly so that they can make some money back, they're always going to go Steam first. So I wouldn't call Quest the PC killer just yet.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, Gorillo's making a point right here. How's Half-Life Alyx port on the Quest? Oh wait, or Project Cars too. You know, and that's
Very
the
good with Link.
see, that's the beauty of
Exactly.
what we're saying. You know, that's one thing that's so weird, and we kind of been seeing this a lot in the Discord lately. I don't think there's anybody that's enjoying the Quest that would not agree that PCVR is amazing. But there's been this weirdness of like somehow we're now saying PCVR sucks, it's dead, it's never, we don't need it. I like to have both. I like Wes said, I would love to have every platform to enjoy all of them. But I mean, if you're gonna only have one, wouldn't you want to have one that plays PCVR and the standalone games, like the amazing
Right.
games that we're talking about. That Crashland doesn't exist on the PCVR. Swarm does, but Crashland doesn't. And neither will Resident Evil 4, and all the haters will, they'll talk away. And
Yeah. Why
so
don't we run through like the stuff that was announced today? Do you,
Yeah, so what I
yeah.
what I thought we would do here is I've got it all listed right in the order that
Okay.
that they went through it on the actual Oculus Gaming Showcase. So I thought we would go down the line here, just one thing after another, and then kind of get everybody's thoughts on each specific item, and then at the end of it, kind of get our overall takeaways on the showcase as a whole. So that's kind of the plan here. After that, then Roots and I are going to talk about Maskmaker. Hey, there's one that's not on Quest, Maskmaker, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the Quest version of Carly and the Reaperman. But before all that, let's kick off the episode as we always do by saying hello to our friends in chat. And Zayla Maru's in chat, Roots, and he says he just got an HP Reverb G2, and it's the best looking VR display that he's ever laid his eyes on.
wow, I'll tell you what. I don't think I've heard one person that's put that thing on their head not say the same thing. Like everybody, you, Phil Yarn, everybody that I've heard has Overg's said it's the best headset they've ever seen. And I would imagine, especially for specific games and stuff, it's amazing. I'm actually kind of jealous, bro. Like I want to see these graphics. My thing is I only have the 2080 Super, so I don't know if I guess, is it powerful enough to run the G2? G2.
Yeah, I think it actually would probably run better on your 2080 than it does on the 3080, because the 3000 series drivers uh, don't seem to be playing exactly perfectly with the G2. But with that said, I did play Maskmaker in it and had everything turned up to 100%, and it played perfectly the whole time. So
Cool. Yeah, well,
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I would love to try it. It's just a lot of money to shell out. My thoughts is, if I'm going that far, I might as well go a little bit further and get the index. But I'm like Scion. I'm waiting for the second index, the one without glare.
Yeah, I was about to say, man, the glare is just a bit too much for me. And then Anthony, I heard that sometimes the controllers malfunction.
Yeah. Yep, they do.
Yeah.
Anyway, person in chat, thanks for stopping by. Traveling Man 3775, Radio Run, Onakazi in the house, Jarillo staying up late. This is the effect Anthony has. Jarillo will wait through a 20-minute delay to watch the show. Thanks for stopping by. Wolveraza in the house, Aylin Kara. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Aylin Kara, Aylin Kara. Techno Glitch stopping by as he always does. Traveling Man, hello, sir. Lip Knox, thanks for coming by. Scott Merrill. So even though it's late, Roots, a pretty good little crew here. Just Mosaic, hello, sir. Well, I guess that was a little earlier, but thanks for stopping by. Thanks for being patient with us through the technical difficulties, and thanks for continuing to be patient as we continue to deal with them, I'm sure, through the rest of the show. But anyway, let's get into it here. Let's give the people what they came for, and let's talk a little bit about the Oculus Showcase. The Oculus Showcase was something that was announced about a week ago through the Oculus social media channels. And, they gave us roughly half of what was going to be in it. We knew coming in that we were going to hear from Pistol Whip. We were going to get updates on Lone Echo 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, and The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. But beyond that, we went into this blind, and, when they leave room for speculation and time for people to speculate, generally speculation leads to expectation, and expectation generally leads to disappointment. That has been my my general experience since I've started doing this. People generally tend to whip themselves up into a frenzy, expecting more than what's coming. Now, with that said, we're guilty of it too. We thought maybe we would get some update on the Ubisoft titles, the Splinter Cells, the Assassin's Creed. None of that. But all in all, a fairly impressive list of games here. And it started off with a new DLC for Pistol Whip. This one called the Smoke and Thunder DLC. This is going to be another story campaign, 5-chapter story campaign like Pistol Whip 2089, only this one with a Wild West theme, apparently. Anthony, well, first of all, did you play Pistol Whip 2089?
The campaign thing, I think I tried it for a minute. Actually, I don't know. I might not have done it. I've never really like totally got into Pistol Whip. It does look beautiful on a Valve Index though. Like that is one game that absolutely sings on a Valve Index. But for me, something about that game, I never fully clicked with it. So I just didn't play it that much. So no.
You know, I clicked with it. And when I say I clicked with it, I mean my knees. My knees clicked with it and my hips clicked with it a little bit. And I really thought this little teaser they showed here, I think it's a cool idea, but just watching this thing makes my legs hurt. Roots, what about you?
Yeah, absolutely, dude. And I don't know, man. It is very intensive. I'm kind of like Anthony. I've enjoyed it. And I would be a jerk to say I don't like it because Mash Daddy bought it for me. So I do enjoy it, but at the same time, like you said, it's a lot of work, man. It's gonna give me a workout. My knees hurt at the end of it, and I still don't buy that it's a rhythm game. I know you can shoot to the rhythm.
I can't get the rhythm of it if it is. I
you
can't
can
find the
do
rhythm.
it, and I guess you could just gotta be boss, bro. If you want to, like Wes has said, man, like as you're waiting for that rhythm, you're taking that risk of a bullet coming in your face. So. And you know who else likes? Oh, now I'm not even gonna go there. We'll keep it PG for now. But yeah, no, I have enjoyed it, but I wasn't. This is one of the things that I wasn't like super excited about this news, I guess.
You know what I
Yeah.
hope though, real quick, is like all this money they're making off Pistol Whip, all this Pistol Whip money. I hope it can pay for another episode 3. You know, like remember
Yeah,
episode
man.
1, episode 2, Call of the Starseed and Heart of the Emberstone? I want episode 3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I said earlier is that I bet the gallery episode 3 is going to be a Pistol Whip DLC. But no, dude, I'm trying to look up. Does anyone know? Because every update that they've done to this game thus far, including the 2089 update, has been a free DLC. Now, surely this one won't be, right? I mean, they have to start charging at some point. They've added so much content to this game since it launched. It's over doubled in size. And I think that it's an amazing value proposition as it stands if you're into playing this sort of game. I'm trying to look it up to see if they've said whether or not it's paid or not, but surely it has to be, right?
Maybe they just want to make it a no-brainer, man. Like this game is, you just have to own this game. There's so much content, or maybe they had this much originally planned, and they just figured if they would dole it out over time, and it would make them. Because we've even said it's like, man, these devs just keep giving and giving, right? And
It is indeed a free update, by the way.
Is it really? You know what's funny is, Wes, you look like you're almost disappointed, not because you think they should be getting money for it. You're disappointed for the devs, and I completely understand. But for us, I'm happy.
Yeah, man. I don't know if outside of No Man's Sky, have we ever seen a VR game be supported better than Pistol Whip?
I don't know, man. It's definitely very well supported. That's for sure. I think it even won the award for that in our for our 2020 show, right?
I believe you're right.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the Smoke and Thunder DLC wasn't the only update that they announced. It's also going to come with something called the Concierge update. Not a lot of detail as to what that exactly is going to mean. They basically just described it as more customization options for the base pistol whip game. And I find that to be kind of hard to wrap my head around, because as it stands, isn't Pistol Whip already one of the most customizable games that you can play out there?
Yeah, absolutely. It's got a lot of different customizations, the one-handed, all the different things that can either change things, right? Give you bonuses or detract, which is good
Right.
because I have to have two guns, Wes. I don't care if I lose points or not. It just feels good. So
Yeah. Driven by says that it's had 4 free DLC packs already. So I guess this will make 5. It's nuts, man. And that's not counting, the December through or all through the end of last year up until the early part of this year. They did a free track every month, and then after that they started doing the DLC packs. So I mean, it's just been constant free content since this game launched, pretty much.
so did you play through 2089, Anthony? The full thing or no?
No, no, I
No.
did not. But one thing I'll say just about Pistol Whip in general is like, it's amazing how this game has solidified itself like on all these different platforms as like one of the absolute cream of the crop of VR games. Like on Quest, it's considered by most people like a top 5 Quest game. Same thing with PlayStation
Mm.
VR, or maybe not top 5 on PlayStation VR, but like the PlayStation VR version has done it plenty of favors, and they Cloudhead Games talk about a developer that had such an early investment in VR. They were one of the very first develop, like way in the earliest days of VR, like working with Vive and stuff. And Call of the Starseed was given away, like it was in the bundle. You got a Vive, you might get Call of the Starseed and like Fantastic Contraption and some other game or whatever, right? So because it was packed in with hardware, they had a deal with HTC that funded them pretty well. But I think like Heart of the Emberstone didn't sell very well, even though I think it's a freaking incredible game. And here comes Pistol Whip, and it basically completely saved their company in a way, and then took them to these new heights. And now they have a major VR hit.
Yeah. Heart of the Emberstone, the gallery episode 2, to this day, one of the most beautiful graphical displays I've ever seen in VR, and it absolutely holds up today in the Asgard's effect era. So it's nice to see these developers be able to win, and to make a little bit of money. But I'm kind of like you. The rhythm games, even though it is a rhythm shooter, really not my bag. But this is a fun one, and the 2089 campaign does change the gameplay. Not totally, but enough to make the game interesting. It's just that pain, that keeps me out of it. Like, it's not a game that I'll play 2 days in a row. It's not a game I'll play 2 weeks or even 2 months in a row, just because I'm so averse. It's kind of like Sprint Vector in that way. Like I thought Sprint Vector was a fun game, but it hurt my arm so bad playing it that I just never picked it back up. And I think that it really doesn't matter what these devs do for Pistol Whip. It's never going to be something that I ever play more than just like one day every 3 months or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. For me, everything you just described, I would say in some form or fashion, for me the gameplay is not that fun. Like you said, Anthony, it was top 5, because if they did consider it top 5, I know that there's at least 2 that I know knocked a bunch of shit down the list. So I don't know what it is anymore. Because Swarm and Crashland, the gameplay is so amazing. Like, I'm just raving about it, right? It's so amazing. It feels so good to play those games. And then you talk about what Wes just said with your knees, and like it just it's and Sprint Vector the same thing. It was an amazing game, but the gameplay just wasn't that fun because it was a lot of work. And it goes to what I've said before: as amazing as people want to have these treadmills and all these different things. People are lazy. People want to sit down. They don't want to be barely standing, let alone walking, let alone swinging their arms and doing a bunch of weird shit. They just want to play a game and not be exhausted at the end of it. Most people. And most people in general are kind of like main fan in a sense. They don't want to be hot and sweaty in the headset. Doesn't feel comfortable.
But what if you were so freaking entertained though that you just didn't even care? You just like, do you think you could ever be in something that is just so freaking powerful and so intense, like some kind of unbelievable Grand Theft Auto metaverse type shit where you're like soaking in sweat and you just don't give a damn, you're still doing it?
Yeah, there's times I've been playing Pop One streaming and you're like getting hot and you still continue because you're having fun. And I'm not knocking the game, it's just, I guess just for me, it's just a lot of work. And I, for one, will tell you I'm lazy when I'm playing games. I don't want to be doing a bunch of bending down and stuff all the time, especially with
Hey,
my knees. So,
if you've got a couple of seated VR games, you always you like to have them. You know what I mean? Because it's like I like having a couple nice seated VR games that I could when I just like, oh yeah, I do want to chill right now. Let me do a seated one.
Driven by says box VR devs can die. I get you, Driven by.
Oh
it's
man, we
it,
could talk about that, but there's so we got to get to all the big stuff or kind of big stuff that happened in this show.
that's
Like
true.
the yeah, let's keep going.
All right. So we'll just we'll just say Pistol Whip. We appreciate what the developers are trying to do here, but Pistol Whip's kind of like tequila. It's good going down, but you regret it the next morning.
That's right. Yeah, so you're not sure if it's a thumb up or a thumb down.
All right. So then they moved on to Warhammer 40K, one of the few Battle Sister, one of the few Quest titles that I kind of am interested in, but I don't have. They recently updated this game with a Horde mode. They also give it some performance updates that apparently were much needed. It got mixed reviews on launch. A lot of that had to do with performance. Apparently, that's not an issue anymore. Well, they announced immediately, effective, that there's a new patch coming, adding 2 more levels, co-op mode, and PCVR compatibility with full cross-buy and cross-play.
Ooh,
Roots, a decent-looking game, all of a sudden gets a lot more appealing, right?
absolutely. Well, I'll tell you what made it for me. As I'm watching that trailer and I'm thinking of playing with Wes, that automatically made me. I just never really looked at this game. I never really looked at it until I found out that there was co-op update, and then I looked at it, and I'm assuming you felt the same way with completely fresh eyes. I was like, oh God, why do I not have this game? Which goes to what we always say: co-op is king. So.
But the developers, they made Drop Dead Dual Strike Edition.
Mhm.
Like they're pretty like Pixel Toys, pretty legit. So I was
Yeah.
kind of hyped for this.
Yeah, we just
Yeah.
played did a money show on that, right, Wes? Drop Dead, or was that something else? That was something else, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a
I always
it was
get
a
that
different
mixed
one,
up
yeah.
with that other game. I've never played Drop Dead, but I've almost bought it several times.
Yeah, a legit VR developer here, and this game's always kind of been graphically pretty, right? But it is an arcade style shooter. Not a lot of people don't appreciate the arcade style games in VR. I particularly enjoy a lot of them if they're done well. But I guess it was kind of some of the reviews that kind of turned me off to this one because not everybody was sold on it, and the ones that didn't give it a bad review were just kind of meh on it. But I gotta say, really, just as much as the co-op, the idea of it uh, coming to PCVR is just as appealing to me here because a lot of what this game does is eye candy, right? And I think being able to see it at its best, powered by a PC, is it's something that really increases the value to me, anyway. What about you, Anthony? Do either of these things, the co-op or the PCVR compatibility, really, make you want to play this more than you did to begin with?
Well, I'll tell you what, when I was watching the show live and they said, and it's available on PC, and they said something like it's available now or something like that, but they actually corrected it and said no, or it's available tomorrow, or I forget what they said. And then now we know that it's coming to PC, but it is coming to PC. And this is like, honestly, this is one of the biggest pieces of news of the entire day, because think about the PC situation. I mean, we got more things to talk about, of course, from that angle, but there isn't a lot of Quest games that come to the Quest and then come to PC, and this is one of them that did that. So it was like, and this was early in this whole event. Like, this is very early on that they announced this. And I was like, whoa, is Oculus now kind of like PC happy again? What's going on here?
Well, it makes you wonder what
PCVR.
else. Yeah, what else are they going to bring? Any of the other games like Crashland, or I mean, I don't expect that they will, but I'm
You and
saying
Crashland, goddamn.
dude, it's it's amazing. It was so good, Anthony. When I played it, I immediately got out. I set my OBS up and I made a video for the channel. And it was if I would have labeled it or named it, it would have been a love letter to Wes on why you need to play this game, because that was my goal. I was like, I gotta show Wes how good this game is, because I felt like it was Farpoint, the closest thing to Farpoint in VR, on PC VR, and in some ways almost better. Obviously without the amazing story and the aim controller, but the gameplay, and the AI, and it's procedurally generated, and just everything about it is amazing.
Yeah,
So.
I have to concur there. But Crashland is great. Although I don't know, I would want to play it tethered. I would end up.
Dude, PC is alive again, and y'all are talking about Crashland. Come on.
PC is alive again. Port City VR, PC VR, and that's exactly what we're talking
PC
about here.
lives.
Chris,
They said the name Rift. They said Rift.
Chris Duncan has a good point though. Crashland was originally on the PC for the DK1. And
That's
that was
true.
yeah, it is very true. And it was also on, I think, either Gear or the Go. I'm not sure, but yeah, it's really good. But anyway,
Well,
we'll
let
get
me
on
ask
to
you, Anthony. This Warhammer franchise apparently a pretty big deal in the realm of flat gaming. There's more Warhammer games than I have fingers and toes. Have you ever heard of or played this franchise at all before VR?
Oh yeah, I've heard of like 40K Warhammer for the longest time. Like they had games like back in the 90s, right, on PC, like little turn-based games and stuff like that, Command and Conquer style games and stuff. But I've
Yeah.
actually never played any of them, and I don't know anything about Warhammer at all. And for me, the appeal honestly is just like the graphics of the game and stuff. But when it did arrive on Quest, like, it wasn't everybody ranting and raving about it. So if it was, lots of us would have jumped in and probably bought it and felt like we had to buy it. But a lot of the reviews were kind of blah in the beginning.
That's what I think
Right.
Onokazi was saying. Mateo, I think it was Onokazi. Somebody said Mateo said he wasn't that impressed with it. So hopefully maybe some of these changes plus the co-op will make it that much better, right?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, though. I mean, we're talking about it coming to PCVR, and there's already another Warhammer game in development by Carbon Studios for PCVR. So I'm wondering if we might soon have the same problem that flat gamers have with all this brand confusion. And by this
Like
time
the
next year, we might.
Walking Dead games and stuff.
Yeah. Well, I
Well,
mean, yeah.
no confusion. One's good, the other's not.
Yeah. Luckily, there wasn't confusion because of that. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, I'm mildly more interested in this game now. I like the co-op mode. I don't like that it's only going to be for the horde mode and not the campaign. But then again, I like the idea that if I buy this now on Quest, I'm going to get the PC copy as well. So yeah, I think it's something. I mean, it already has like a $25 or $30 price tag on it. So I think these are much needed changes to the game. And yeah, I'm sure I'll end up with it now. at some point.
You're not going to buy it? You didn't buy it already? No.
No, we don't have this one yet. Yet being
Yet.
the operative word here. But anyway, out of Warhammer 40K, everybody reeling from the news that it is going to be available for PCVR. They kicked straight into Lone Echo 2, and there's been a lot of speculation leading into this that maybe Lone Echo 2 would end up being a Quest game. That may be part of the reason why we haven't seen or heard anything from Ready at Dawn in so long, is because they're downsampling it and optimizing it for the standalone headset. Well, I'm happy to say that this is not the case. This game has been reconfirmed to be coming soon, and it's still a PCVR game, and by the looks of the trailer, a stunning one at that. Anthony, are you hyped for Lone Echo 2?
Yeah, so this little story right here, like this whole entire thing, you honestly could do a 1 hour show just talking about this from all kinds of different angles, because when I think of this, like I am perplexed, because I could have sworn, like I would have bet my bottom dollar that this was going to be ported to the Oculus Quest 2 as an exclusive. Like I was definitely expecting that to happen, and it didn't happen. And it's weird because Oculus purchased Ready at Dawn. They acquired Ready at Dawn. This is several years. Well, how long ago was that? It seems like it's been well over a year or so when they acquired Ready at Dawn. And you would think immediately upon acquiring them, they and their vision, you would think Oculus is like Quest, Rift kind of meaningless. So you would think almost everything they would have going would shift towards the Quest, including their best developer under their entire stable, which is Ready at Dawn right now. This is their number one developer, and they're going to have this developer continue to bang away on this PC VR game. I mean, not that that's bad. I think it's wonderful, dude. The original Lone Echo, you want to talk about living a science fiction movie? One of the rants that I always talk about with the original Lone Echo is the thing that I love about VR more than anything in the world is this idea that you could actually step inside a movie and live inside a movie and act within a movie. Like, isn't that the ultimate dream of entertainment? Ever since I've ever seen movies as little kids and started playing video games, I wondered, when am I going to be able to get into the movie and be the freaking actor and save the princess and all that? When am I going to get into the damn movie? And when I played the original Lone Echo, for very brief little moments of time, I felt like I was in a freaking sci-fi movie. Like I really had been inserted into a sci-fi movie. It was that freaking amazing. So to see what these guys have done, although I played a sneak peek of this at the last Oculus Connect 6, or what, the last time we got together, they had a little sneak peek of it, and it was actually really bad. Like it did not feel good at all. It was just a bad demo, and I'm not going to hold it against them because I'm sure it was just the build wasn't, whatever. It just wasn't really, probably shouldn't even have been shown. But I'm so confused by this game from the standpoint of what is Oculus thinking here? Like, what is Facebook thinking? What is Zuckerberg thinking? Was it a case of Ready at Dawn was just so deep into this game already and they couldn't bear to say, dudes, drop what you're doing and get banging on that damn XR2? What are you doing?
Well, people
Yeah,
forget. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say, people forget that they also were working on Echo VR for Quest. They were also, they've been doing other stuff that wasn't just Lone Echo 2, and the big thought was that it was being brought to Quest, but I think they were just working on other stuff, and with the pandemic and everything else, they couldn't do everything, so they just kind of put it on hold more. And we all just, like everything else in VR, we just all assumed it was because it was going to be coming to Quest, and it was giving Shark nightmares, bro. Somebody in the Discord, Shark, he thought it was going to be Questicled, and I think that somebody in the Discord, in the chat, really nailed it. Like, this game, it can't go. It has to be Like the best part of it is the fidelity, the graphics, how amazing it looked, right? It wasn't about how you could float. We already got that in Echo VR. So it needed to look PC good. And Gerillo, Scion, don't forget I said that. Don't hold it against me.
Yeah, I think that you've both kind of hitting the nail on the head here. I think that, of course, they don't want to scrap all the work that they've done, into making this PCVR game. Um, I mean, let's not forget that this game was supposed to launch a long time ago. So I kind of feel like they were right there, in the final stages of finishing the game when they kind of got pulled off to doing Echo VR for Quest. Now, beyond that, what you're saying is true, Roots. Above all, what Lone Echo is known for is photorealism and immersion, right? This is more than any other VR game. This is the one that you can get in and feel like you're really there. This place looks real, it sounds real, it feels real. And I don't think, as impressive as the hardware inside the Oculus Quest 2 is, it's still not anywhere near the level it would take to run Lone Echo 1, let alone Lone Echo 2. So I think when Oculus sees that, and they see the fact that more people than they anticipated are buying Quest to play PCVR on. I mean, we can't forget that in less than half a year, that this is already the most used headset on Steam VR. People are buying these to play PC VR. And I think when you take that into consideration, and when you take into consideration why people are buying the game in the first place, which is photorealism, I think they really have no choice but to launch this as a PC VR title.
Yeah.
The question though is like, what does this mean for the future though? Because okay, there's a couple of different ways I can look at this. Is like, one way I look at it is Facebook. They have this platform, Quest 2. Quest 2 is their new baby. The Quest was their baby. Now Quest 2 is their baby. And the crazy thing about both of these babies, none of them, neither one has like a killer AAA $30 million production on it. And if these are truly, if this is their bread and butter now, like if they're saying the Quest 2 is what it's all about, and the Quest 3 is going to be what it's all about, and this is their future, don't they eventually need to get one of these studios like Ready at Dawn, like Sanzaro Games, one of their hit makers, and say, look, I want you to spend 2 full years banging as hard as you possibly can on that XR2 chipset. Max this baby out, see what this thing can do, and let's push the needle and get like a AAA game on Quest. I know like the PCVR people in chat ain't wanting to hear this, but I see, I want what you want. I want Grand Theft Auto VR. Isn't that what everybody wants? And that happens with 30 million Quest users. And 30 million Quest users happen when you have a developer like Ready at Dawn or Sanzaru Games banging away for 2 years on a heavy hitter. Where's the heavy hitters?
Well, I
I
mean, time wise, we running right into that timeline, Anthony. 2 years, they should be coming out soon. And I thought they're working on Assassin's Creed and Splinter Cell. Maybe those are the ones that they're when they come out are gonna blow people away. Even just the news of RE4, because I talked to so many random people, customers or whatever. Even when it was rumored, people were like, "Oh my God!" Now that it's actually for real, people are like saying, "I'm going out and getting a headset," because it's what it symbolizes, right? We got Capcom now believes in it. Doom 3, Bethesda believes in it. These companies are making these games now, right?
I mean, Bethesda did believe in it. Do they still believe in it? Microsoft owns them now, and it's like, what is that going to mean? But we should probably, let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling. We got a lot more things to get into.
Well, just really quickly here, I want to add a little to what Roots is saying here. He's barking up the right tree here. Uh, yeah, we do need these types of games that you're talking about, Anthony. These $30 million AAA system sellers. But is Lone Echo 2 really that? I mean, they could throw $100 million into Lone Echo. Who wants to play Lone Echo 2? It's PCVR gamers. They're the only people who knows what it is. So it's going to be games like Splinter Cell and Assassin's Creed, Resident Evil. These are the type of games that gamers recognize and are going to buy headsets for. To put that big budget into a sequel for a Gen 1 PCVR game, I mean, I don't think that's really going to do much for the Quest platform anyway.
Can I ask you guys one other question just before we get off the Lone Echo thing? Is
Sure.
like, so Lone Echo now coming to PC and being this like next level PC game, and honestly, this might be the first really big PC game that we got since Half-Life Alyx, basically, right? Like the first really big one, you know? And the question I have with that is, does this now set up unrealistic expectations, not for the VR bubble, because we know what's going on with Oculus, but for the people that aren't necessarily in the VR bubble? They see a brand new game like Lone Echo 2 VR, they buy a Rift S, the thing goes off. I mean, I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. It's like they're releasing this incredible last dream of a game, and then it's like okay, that was it. I hope you guys like that.
Yeah, I think that that's exactly what's happening. This is an interesting situation here with this, because this game's been in development so long. It's kind of the golem of PCVR, where we've been waiting on it for so long. I mean, this game's been in development for longer than standalone VR has been a thing. So it's in this kind of weird space now where they really don't want to support PC anymore with regards to software, but they're already so deep in that they have to. So I kind of feel like this is, at least from the Oculus side, this is PCVR's last dance. And until, you know, the market uh, drags Oculus back into producing PCVR games, I feel like this is probably going to be the last really big budget one that we get.
From
I
Oculus.
can't wait till you start talking about the climb, because I'll tell you what, during this show, you guys probably thought the same thing I thought, but we'll wait till we get there, right?
Yeah, well,
Yeah, but
I was gonna say from Oculus. I mean, we still did. We still.
right.
There's other people out there that we have to assume. I assume Valve is working on another title. Half-Life Alyx did so well. It was the one reason why they got back into gaming again. It reinvigorated them, and they have their whole library that they probably want to bring into VR, right? So maybe they start kicking some ass, and Oculus feels compelled to make some PC games again. I mean, probably not, but one thing that Oculus served its purpose. Now PC VR wise, Oculus, get the fuck out of the way, let the big boys run it. Valve or whoever, and they'll make some games for PC VR,
It's
right?
weird. I would just, like, on the real negative tip, I would just think at some point though, Oculus just wants, like, they I mean, they got to shut it down eventually, right? So you'd think they would want to start the process earlier, but now it's like, it's almost like they're throwing gasoline on the fire, you know? With
Right, and
Lone
then
Echo.
then when they do cut it, it'll be even worse, right? So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but I feel like there is the possibility that they get drugged back in one day, because PCVR is still growing. We do still have Valve out there who are going to continue to make PCVR exclusives. We do have very talented and ever growing indie studios that are continuing to make quality PCVR games. And we can't underestimate the effect that standalone VR is going to have on PC, because there's a certain percentage of all of these new Quest users that are going to be like we were, and they're going to want more, right? They're going to want the ultimate experience, and these people are going to go on to build PCs just like we
These
did.
people are going to buy PlayStation VR2s. No.
Yes.
They absolutely are. They're going to do what I did and buy everything that has a great exclusive on it. So I think PCVR is going to continue to grow. And while I think Oculus isn't moving in that direction, I certainly can see them pivoting back 2, 3, 4 years down the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really quickly before we get on to the next one, I wanted to thank Paul Bellino for the $10 donation. He says, I could not agree with you more, Anthony. We need to go on a grand adventure. That's the VR name of the game. So absolutely. Thank you, Paul, for the
what was the name of that movie?
yeah.
The where one with the ticket, right? Where with Arnold Schwarzenegger, where the kid went into the movie and was like
The
inside the
Last
movie.
Action Hero?
Yeah, Last
Oh yeah, I
Action
really
Hero.
want that one in VR. Not
Well, no, not necessarily, but that's exactly what you want, though. You want to go into the movie like they were literally part of the story, right? And I saw that movie as a kid, and I was like, I did want to go into that movie and hang
I
out.
want to be Luke Skywalker. Okay.
Who doesn't, right? Yeah.
I want to do a Total Recall, but that's another story. So coming out of Lone Echo 2, while they were on a roll from that, they kicked right into Resident Evil 4. And this is a game that they revealed a week earlier in somewhat of a coup, if you ask me, during the finale of the Capcom showcase, which was, it was a surprise to me. Not that the game was coming, but that it occupied the real estate during the Capcom showcase that it did. But anyway, they promised us more, and they gave us a lot more footage here, a lot of details about what's going to be changed from the original game and what's going to stay the same from the original game. I really, Anthony, I liked what they did here with this, because not only did they show us how amazing this port or remake, whatever you want to call it, is going to be, they very clearly managed expectations here. They set it up front. The animations, even though the graphics have all been overhauled, the animations are still the same from the original game. The cutscenes are untouched. We're going to have 2D cutscenes. So they're kind of nipping it in the bud here, aren't they, by telling us the things that people are more than likely going to be critical about, having gone blind into the game.
Yeah, in certain way, yeah, I did find that weird. Like the cutscene thing, I was a little taken aback by the cutscene thing, because honestly, when Resident Evil 4 got first announced at the showcase, and we all knew, like everybody knew that this was happening. The leak that happened in November, I mean, they got all the information. This was real information. Everyone knew this leak was legit. It's just nobody could officially, like, no one's going to officially confirm it. So we had to wait for this to happen. But the whole time I was expecting this to be a port. Like, I didn't think they would put that much effort in this. I thought this would really be like running in some kind of emulator, and it would be like some kind of like 3D stereoscopic version of some kind of Resident Evil 4 in some kind of emulator with like half-ass done stuff. And the information that we got today is this is a primetime game. Like, they're really going way above and beyond the Call of Duty with this game. They got Armature Studios, developers of Fail Factory and Sport Scramble on Quest, and then they got Capcom, and they have Oculus Studios. So like all three of them are combining together. And the lady said that they'd been working on this for like 2 years. So this was not just something that just they randomly decided this like 8 months ago and just started whipping something up. So I think this is like, they talked about the room scale, they talked about teleportation, they talked about being able to physically grab like your ammo and change your weapons and things like that. And this isn't like a quick little Doom VR edition by Archiac Studio for PSVR. I mean, I'm not throwing shade on that. I'm sure that game's great and everything, but what I mean is this is definitely a more thorough remake. But then at the same time, they throw in this thing about the freaking cutscenes, and I'm like, wait a minute, what are you guys doing?
I think that, and I could be barking up the wrong tree here, but I think that they realize that this game has a very passionate fan base, and it's important to these Resident Evil fanatics that the original game, if you're going to remake these games, it has to retain a lot of the elements of the original game. They don't want that original experience to be changed in too many ways. Uh, Now, obviously, it is a VR game, and they have to make it into a VR game. And I think that they deserve a lot of credit for making this a first-person VR game that supports motion controls. Because I agree with you, I wasn't expecting that either. I was totally pumped to play this from the third person in 3D, right? But just be in the world, kind of like Hellblade style. But obviously, they're making this into a proper VR game, and I was kind of impressed not only with the mechanics, but I didn't think that the graphics looked all that bad. Roots, what do you think? Did you check out this footage at all?
I did, and and I'm baffled because it's funny people, and I was expecting to see some in the chat as well because somebody's saying the teleportation looks terrible, or I've heard people say the graphics don't look that good, but I noticed when I was looking at the trailer, it said pre-alpha footage. I've never seen pre-alpha footage that looked as good as the actual game, so I have faith that it's going to look amazing, and they're doing something different. This is the biggest thing, and I hear from people all the time, and I heard it in the chat today from Drillo, I believe, and it was basically saying, "Dude, I've played this on every other platform. This game," and he said the game sucks, but they're saying played it so many different times. It's the same old game, except it's going to be in VR. It's going to be in first person for the first time. You're going to be able to interact with. I mean, I would almost submit that everything about it is different except for the story. And I agree with you. The fact that they're leaving the nostalgia factor intact is a good thing. And 2 years, man. Think about this. Okay, this Quest has only been out for 6 months, right, or whatever it's been, 7 months. I, it shows that to me, it shows you Oculus has been they've we knew they had a plan to begin with all the way along, but I mean, man, they are nailing everything step along the way. The perfect timing for this release, and the perfect time for the Quest 2 to hit the market, and everything's blowing up. Like we said, it's just we're just at the beginning of something that I don't think any of us three even realize how quickly things are going to explode. um I This time next year, who knows what the hell's going on in VR. So
Yeah, 2022 is going to be a landmark year, and I don't want to get off onto that. That's a whole other episode. Anthony, I felt like when we got to the end of the Capcom presentation last week and we saw Mike Verdu there talking about an Oculus VR release, a Resident Evil game, no less, that it was a bit of a shot across the bow. And I know that we've kind of went back and forth, and I've kind of always said to you that Sony doesn't really view Facebook as as competition, really. I think that that might be changing because of what we just saw. Capcom and Sony have always been, like tight. Like Sony gets all the exclusives from Capcom. They pay Capcom a lot of money to get this stuff, and even this showcase that they had last week, Sony was the one promoting it, putting it out there, telling people to watch it, only to just have the grand finale of the whole thing be a Resident Evil VR game that's not on PlayStation. I kind of felt like this was kind of meant to be a shot across the bow or a wake up call for Sony, because Facebook is stepping up and basically saying that uh, that they mean to be a player in VR, not just in building the next social platform, but they mean to be a player in gaming over the next few years. Did you take this anywhere near the way I took it? Because I was surprised again at the prime real estate that Capcom gave Facebook.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of the things that Facebook is doing very intelligently, by the way, is they're building this catalog of exclusives. And if they're smart about it, like I don't know how they're working out their contracts, but the way that they should work out their contracts with these various companies is that they basically can continue these VR versions on future hardware. they'd be really smart to do that, because then that's where it gives them this tremendous advantage. If Microsoft eventually freaking joins the VR crowd, Apple obviously is going to be doing its thing. I believe Google is going to get back into VR at some point. And then and you've got Sony, and it becomes a question of who has like a tremendous library that just has this established library, and you get an important game like a Resident Evil 4 that has been truly converted to VR. I think it's an important thing. Also, we can remember back, do you guys remember when Jason Rubin said that he was going to Capcom? He was talking to Capcom. This is about Resident Evil 7. They were going to try to get Resident Evil 7 onto the Oculus Rift. And I think he reported about it and said something about like, I don't know that we're going to be able to get Resident Evil 7, but we might still work together. Well, they sure as hell did. I bet you this is exactly what happened. They went in to try to get Resident Evil 7. Maybe the deal that Sony has with Capcom is a little bit different than we thought. And because it's stuck there, it never left. And then maybe they worked out this Resident Evil 4 thing, and the whole thing worked together because this game is 16 years old, which just happens to be perfect from a geometry standpoint for an Oculus Quest 2.
Yeah, I have a little bit of light to shed on that. A bit of a new take with why did Resident Evil 7 never come to PCVR? And I don't want to get off on a side tangent, but I did learn something. I learned something this week that I did not know. Most people have always asked this question, why? Because they knew that the Sony exclusivity to the Resident Evil 7 VR was 1 year. Why did it never come to PC? Well, I think I know why now. It was because there was another exclusivity deal that Sony had with Resident Evil 7 that they also have with Resident Evil 8 going forward. And that is there's a clause that says that any other version of Resident Evil 7 on any other platform cannot be better than the PlayStation version. It can't run better. It can't look better. It can't have features that Sony doesn't have. So just by having that clause, right, what are you going to do? Bring it to PC, but have it run like the PlayStation version? You can't do that. People will crap all over it. So I think that that's kind of the reason why Ruben couldn't get it on Oculus, but instead ended up getting Resident Evil 4 because Sony doesn't have the exclusive rights to that just yet.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And before we leave this topic real quick, just one last thing about this game. So they've been like repainted and higher textures for 4,500 textures. And then also the positional audio. They were talking about the crows and stuff like that. And I think little details like that could really add a lot. But the one thing I'll say on like going negative a little bit on this, some people have said that like graphically and like, are you really going to want to play this? It's such an old game. And I do kind of believe that this is going to be one of those things where the nostalgia factor is really there. You're hyped, you're into it. And maybe that first afternoon that you play it, you're going to be like, yeah, this is really good. And then the next day you play it, you're going to be like, yeah, this is really good. And then the next day you play it, you're going to be like, is this really good? I've been playing this for a long time and I'm kind of bored, bruh. No, I don't know.
No, I think it just depends. Obviously, I'm going to love it. But I'm a Resident Evil fan, so I'm not so sure if fans from outside the genre or people who don't already have a bit of a nostalgia attachment to it will think it's the best game on earth. Only time is going to tell. But the good thing is that there's a lot of us, right? There's a lot of people that are attached to the game and the franchise, and I mean. It's not that they even said it during the Oculus Showcase. It's not the scariest game of the Resident Evil franchise, but the fact that it's in VR is going to add a lot more edge to the game. And I can't wait. I can't wait to see what the game is going to look and sound and feel like from the inside.
Well, and that's the thing I guess people are discounting. We always say right off the bat when somebody looks at a trailer and they're like, dude, doesn't look that good, bro. you know, and it's like, well, get in the headset and see how it looks, and then it's amazing. It looks so much different. We're forgetting the fact that this is a AAA game, that people, you know, it's got AAA gameplay, and I think it's people are gonna really are gonna enjoy it. I think, you know, just think to all these flipping mods and stuff that people have, the Doom 3s and stuff. They don't look that much better on the Quest 2 either, but people are loving the hell out of it. I don't see that this is going to be any different. And it's got the AAA title, the series, the Resident Evil, that alone. And I've never played through Resident Evil 4. I don't have the wonderful knowledge like Gerillo says that it sucks. I don't think it is going to suck. I remember playing it a brief amount. I did own it on the GameCube. I just don't. I didn't play. I bought games and never played them that much. I was so busy back then at work. So
Some of the design, though, from a game that's 16 years old, they did things back in those days that we don't tolerate now. So I don't know. It's going to be because I played this on the GameCube. I didn't finish it, but I remember. But it's a slog. Like you got to play this thing for a long time. And I remember it getting hard, and I remember getting stuck. And then I remember basically giving up on it, which is the story of my life when it comes to these damn games. But I do want to see it. I want to check it out, but I do worry that 3 or 4 days later, I'm like 3 hours into it and I never freaking finish it.
I think they're talking about the cost. What do you think? They save maybe $50. Do you think it'll be 50, or do you think it'll be cheaper?
Dude, they charge $40 for Stormland and Asgard's Wrath, so I kind of think that's the ceiling.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, I said $39.99, I'd say.
Yeah. I would say you're probably right. I would, you know, my initial thought on it was $30, $29.99. But I could. This is a premium title. Capcom is getting a cut. Plus, I mean, Armature Studios as well. So there's a lot of overhead here. So I could easily see it being $40, but no more.
Yeah.
All right. So from there, the hits just kept right on coming, and we didn't get a new trailer, but we got an announcement of the next chapter of Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, and it was kind of weird, man, because I kind of expected them to kind of talk about it like a story DLC, but it's weird. They almost talked about this thing like it was a sequel, like that. They said the next part of it was coming up, like it was a sequel or something. But they've told us that there's going to be 2 brand new stories added in, as well as a new character. And it was a character I didn't recognize, and I didn't take the liberty here to look it up. It was a pretty inconsequential character, or am I off base here, Anthony? Did you recognize this character that they were highlighting as being the star of the next part?
I saw some artwork and it looked like one of those hammerhead dudes.
Right.
You know, the hammerhead dude from the cantina, but I don't know if that was like some miscellaneous artwork or that's the actual character. But I don't know the actual Star Wars name, bro. For the hammer. I called him Hammerhead, man. I had him when I was a kid.
We just lost 3 subs, man, because nobody knows the guy's name. And
oh, they are pissed. People are pissed, bro. They take their Star Wars seriously.
Hammerhead's what I call
him. Roots are, you know, for what it is, it's still the Tales from the Galaxy's Edge is still the best VR adventure that we have, Star Wars VR adventure that we have. So I'm pretty happy to see more content coming for it, and not only one story picking up from where the last left off, but 2. Yeah, I think it's pretty good news.
Yeah. Did they say that how much it was going to cost, or did they say, or any, no? Maybe $20.
No pricing information. Just later this year. Most of this stuff was just later this year, which I found kind of funny.
Well, let me ask you this, okay? Because people say they talk like Star Wars Tales of the Galaxy Edge is a good game, but there's no dojo, bro. And without the dojo, no, I'm just kidding. That's the biggest thing. The Vader Immortal. That's all everyone says. Well, it's got the dojo. That's the one thing that they say that classifies it as a good game. I wanted the story, and the Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy Edge gave me that story. I really enjoyed it, and I look forward to any more And the fact that you said like they're giving us 2 of them is really cool.
Yeah, I'm not as down on Vader Immortal as some people are. I enjoyed Vader Immortal, but I think Tales from the Galaxy's Edge is head and shoulders above it. The way that the map's a bit more open, you're a bit more free to roam and explore, and there's much better action gameplay in the game. So I like the storytelling in Vader Immortal, but I feel like Galaxy's Edge is a much more complete VR game. Anthony, did you get into Galaxy's Edge at all?
No, I finally played all 3 of the Vader Immortals. I had episode 3 of Vader Immortal and like never bothered
Hmm.
playing it, and then I finally did that. But Tales from the Galaxy's Edge, when that came out, I just kind of like I didn't want to buy it right away, and I kind of just like wanted to wait and see what people were saying about it. And it's weird that the thought process on that game is all over the place. Like some people really rave about it, and it's like, no, this is one of the must play Quest games. And then other people are like, I didn't really like this one. I liked some of the Vader Immortals, but I didn't like Tales. I've just heard a lot of different things about it. But I'm glad. I mean, Star Wars is a big thing. And again, I don't know, are these going to remain exclusives for a long time? Well, Vader Immortal, the whole series went to PlayStation, right? But I wonder if Tales from the Galaxy's Edge is going to end up other places. There's so many little exclusive things where it's just like a little brief timed exclusive, and then sometimes they're much longer and more, intertwined.
It seems like things are changing though. Like it wasn't that long ago, maybe what, a year, Wes, where I literally came out of my mouth. There was no reason to own a Quest. There was no real exclusives. There was no real games that I couldn't play on the PCVR. And 1 year later, we have I mean almost 10. Maybe not that many, but I mean they're definitely getting up there, and we're having more and more announced. I think with the Star Wars thing, it's like a comic book thing versus like the more of the real. Some people like the original Star Wars. Some people like the Star Wars comics. With the Tales from the Galaxy Edge, I felt like I was sucked into a Star Wars comic book or a cartoon almost. And the production value was so amazing. The acting was so good. The story was really good. And then the gunplay, the actual gameplay was better than the Immortal. I thought it was really good. Definitely worth checking out, I would say, Anthony, for sure.
Huh?
Kind of weird we don't have it on PC yet, though, right?
Yeah, but maybe it never comes. Maybe like Anthony said. I mean, I would say I would submit for the Oculus Quest
Let's
platform
get
or
to the climb. Let's get to the climb
well
because
what
I
they
swore.
what they want to do is they want that exclusive platform. So, absolutely.
Yeah, I get it. They want it to be a headset seller, but at some point, you would think I would have thought that it would have went to PC by now to pick up those extra users, but I guess it's still a work in progress. Now, uh, they didn't say a price on it. They didn't say whether it would be free or free or paid DLC. But we all kind of bought into the Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge on the idea that there would be more coming, right? Because what wasn't this, what, 25 or $30 to buy it to begin with? And it was kind of short.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It was sold
But
as
it is
there's
Star
more
Wars. I mean,
coming.
come on.
Yeah.
That's a Star Wars premium.
That's true.
Yeah, dude. Well, I guess that's true, but I mean, well, I mean, $30 for a game that's barely longer than a Star Wars movie. We all just assumed that we would get at least one more tale, but the fact that this DLC has two, I would almost say that it almost certainly is going to be a paid DLC. And the way they were talking about it, making it sound like a sequel, I mean, dude, it might be another 20 or $30 to get it. Are you going to
It
buy it at
probably
that?
will, and it probably will be the same, relatively the same length. I mean, that's all right. If you stack all the Vader Immortals back to back, that's $30, and there might be a little bit of extra padding. But like, are you really playing for a hell of hours if you're playing the 3 Vader Immortals? No.
Right. And
I guess that's true.
you don't get the Star Wars brand without paying the money. So As long as it's good, I don't mind paying. I mean, I would rather pay like $10 for a DLC. That would be really cool, but I don't think it's gonna be that cheap. So
All right, so from there they went straight into the Star Wars Pinball, which was a game that we already knew was coming. This is a VR port of a existing flat game, and it's a tried and true recipe with the VR Pinball. Now, I personally have never played any of the pinball effects tables. I've never tried that game, but everybody that I know that has raves about it. Now, I like pinball and I love Star Wars, and this looks really cool. But at the end of the day, isn't this still just pinball? Anybody?
Yeah, it is. It is still just pinball. And if you've tried the VR pinball games, they're cool. They're a novelty, but like, I mean, they're fun to play for a minute and you can kind of, you get the feeling of it. And you know what? This would be super cool actually if we had one of those Pinbot things that Jeremy Williams from Tested, you know, he made this like contraption that's like a physical thing and like then you're actually like hitting the paddles and it's like lined up with it in real space. And that would be super cool. But one of the things I wonder about this game is, would you guys get into the whole idea of like being able to walk around this little Star Wars man cave that you got going on? Although it would be kind of cool if the sofa tracking combined so that you could kick back on your sofa and you're in your little Star Wars cave, bro.
It's all about like looking around as you're doing your games and seeing that environment. And we would love environments. If you're a huge Star Wars fan, I would imagine it would be something really cool to have all that, the different nostalgia, the different things. I'm not, it really wouldn't be that big a deal for me. I think this is a stepping stone. You know, we had FX2, which was good. The Star Wars looks good. If you like Spry Guy says he loves VR pinball, so do I. It's a version of pinball you can't get in real life. You're not going to have shit flying around your room, Star Wars stuff coming out of the machine, and little guys running around and doing all the things in there. It's super cool. But what I'm looking for is FX3 because those tables are badass. And if this does well enough, why would they not bring FX3 and all those tables in as well? I think it's going to do well because people love pinball, people love Star Wars, and the combined amount. It's a unique thing that people you can't even really go play pinball anymore. Like pinball machines aren't out there very much. You can unless you go to Main Fan's basement. There's just not many pinball machines out there. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, and let me clarify. Dave Station VR is in the chat, and he says it's literally not just pinball. That's not what I mean. What I'm trying to convey here is, yeah, I get it. It's got cool graphics that fly out, and it really takes advantage of the 3D ness of VR, and it has cool mini games. It's got a lot of extra stuff that real life pinball doesn't have. The point, what I'm trying to say when I'm saying it's just pinball as a concept in a video game is something that's designed around replayability. But I see most of what's going on with this VR pinball stuff as 90% novelty, 10% gameplay. And it's something that I would go into and be really impressed with once, twice, something that I'd probably use quite a bit as a demo to show people who aren't versed in VR, something that they can play naturally. I wouldn't have to teach them much when it comes to how to play pinball. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm sure this is going to cost $20 or more for something that I probably would play a handful of times and then never go back into it.
Yeah, but
That's what I mean when I say it's just pinball, right?
yeah. Well, I don't know. I guess it depends on how much you like pinball or how much you like to play.
Also
Um,
the price though. It was like if this was like $9.99, okay.
well, it's
Right.
I guarantee it's not going to be $9.95
Yeah.
because it's got Star Wars attached to it. What's cool
It's like
about this
30
is
bucks
these are
supposedly.
tables that some of these are brand new tables, and a lot of these tables are
Mhm.
ones that you've really never been able to play. Most people have never been able to play. So But yeah, I guess Wes, if especially if you're not very much of a pinball person, I could definitely see it being more of a nostalgia thing or like a cool thing. If I'm being honest, I don't run into FX2 all the time. I do
It's just
enjoy
it's
it.
just it's just weird to me that they show these two games back to back. Galaxy's Edge, which allows you to get in and live a Star Wars adventure, and then Star Wars Pinball, which allows you to play like these super magical pinball tables. And it's almost like people are more hyped for the pinball than they are for the adventure. And it just that doesn't
Well,
register with
let
me.
me tell you why, Wes, because and this is
The
society in 20
Mandalorian, bro.
this is society 2021. One of them showed you something and the other talked about it. You know,
Right.
the pinball showed you the shit. The other one didn't. They just talked about the game. And so of course people aren't gonna, if they would have shown new footage of like the new tail and showed some more footage, I guarantee people would be more hyped about it. But it is a little weird. I would rather go on the adventure than stay inside and play a pinball machine for sure. But I think those pinball machines are gonna be super cool. So
So you guys be sure to mark the date because I'm sure I'll be back here in 3 weeks just raving about how great the Star Wars pinball actually is.
when we go
The
back,
little mini game where they show you like battling Darth Vader with a lightsaber. Like, what if that actually was better than any of the other Star Wars things
isn't that
we've seen?
crazy? Or like, I think it was kind of cool. Some of the mini games they had the indoor where you're on the speeder and stuff, right?
Yeah, I did
Um,
think that looked cool. Yeah, I
yeah,
noticed that too.
yeah. So we'll see, we'll see.
Uh,
It could be gimmicky, but it could be really good. So
Hey, we could be sitting here, talking sideways about it, and the whole time there could be a lightsaber dojo in there, man,
ooh, well, if there's got a lightsaber dojo in there, it saves the game for sure.
for sure. Oh, anyway, they kicked out of Star Wars Pinball, and from there they went to I Expect You to Die 2 trailer. Wah, 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 wah. Here's the thing. I enjoy I Expect You to Die. I thought it was a fun game, and I'm looking forward to playing the sequel. But they announced the game, and then they had the PSVR week, or I'm sorry, day long event where they made new reveals about upcoming PlayStation VR games. And this was one of them, and we already knew about it. And now we have the Oculus Gaming Showcase where we're expecting all of these new games and big announcements. And they show up here with the same trailer that we saw with the PlayStation thing. Uh, I'm excited for this game. I want to play it, but I really don't see why it had a spot in this. They really showed us absolutely zero new information here.
Yeah.
Anybody thoughts
No,
on
no,
that?
I agree. I think it's kind of funny. You know, because that I guess specifically Tales from the Galaxy Edge didn't show anything, but at least they told something, right? It makes you wonder if maybe
Right.
they just had something drop off the list and they had to fill it with something, right?
You know what
Yeah,
I
well,
think
the
it
thing.
is?
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry,
Yeah.
Anthony. I was just going to say this is one of the uh, most highly rated and highest purchased games on the Oculus Quest store. I Expect You to Die 1. And I think that they probably felt like it was a bigger announcement than it actually was that it was coming to Quest. That we all knew it was coming to Quest, but I don't think they actually had announced it yet.
Okay. Well, are you excited?
But
Are you excited about it coming to Quest?
I was excited about it a month ago. You know
You're
what I
not
mean?
excited about it in this context. Well, let me ask you this. Would you have felt better? Because I know Anthony kind of said this. If we had had maybe say some Splinter Cell news or some Assassin's Creed or something that we give a fuck about outside of what we heard a month ago, you know, because we had a lot of questions about a lot of these games and we're like, we want to know. And like you said, we already knew that about it, or we assumed we knew it. So it's kind of
Right.
weird. I think maybe something just maybe that it did just fill the spot. Maybe something else was supposed to be announced.
No, I
I don't
think
know. What do you?
Wes hit it on the mark because I Expect You to Die, the original, the popularity of that game is like there is huge popularity for that game. People love that game. It is rated really, really well. And so the sequel, you know, they expect it to be a really big thing as well. So I think it's one of those things, like in the VR bubble, you know, we're so used to it. I mean, how many times has the original I Expect You to Die been on sale?
Mm,
Every Steam sale, going for like 25 Steam sales in a row. Like all these same games would always be on sale. So we've all owned it for years.
mm.
But outside of the VR bubble, lots of Quest people bought the first one and they are excited about the second one.
That's true.
Right.
There's probably a lot of people that watched that showcase that just got into VR and they just heard for the first time, and this is huge news. Maybe they just played through the first one, right? So like I said, it's
Yeah,
valid.
and then let me be clear. I am excited to play this game. I did play through the first one and I enjoyed it. I just found it weird that this makes twice now that they've kind of showed up in an event that was meant to kind of reveal new stuff, but they didn't show any new stuff, you know.
Yeah.
Anyway, out of there, we got some totally new stuff. We got the reveal of a new game that we had no idea was coming. Carve Snowboarding was revealed. This coming to us from the developer of 1080 Snowboarding way back in the day. Um, Roots, normally I wouldn't be all that excited for a snowboarding game, but one, this looks fun, and two, we recently played Powder VR, and it turned out to be way better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, and three, we can't discount that 1080 snowboarding. That when I read that, I was like, oh my God. You know, you want to see, it's like when you heard, I mean, granted, this is a little bit different, but you know, Audica was from the makers of Guitar Hero. Immediately it gets street cred for me. That's what this game does as well, besides the fact that it really does look really good. And I did enjoy Powder, and I think this thing may I think hopefully this will be exactly what we've been looking for in a snowboarding game, right?
Yeah, Anthony, did you play the 1080 back in the day?
You know, I think 1080 kept I back in the Nintendo 64 days, I had a Nintendo 64 like right at launch, you know, super into it and everything. But I remember 1080 snowboarding as a game that was announced. We'd see pictures of it in magazines and stuff, but we were waiting forever and ever and ever. And I think what happened is I I moved on and became a PC gamer that was playing 3DFX cards. Do you
Mm.
guys remember the 3DFX graphics cards? I became a PC gamer and started using 3DFX graphics cards, and I sold my Nintendo 64. And then I think finally 1080 snowboarding came out like a month after I sold it. So, or I might have played it. I don't know. I can't remember. It's so long ago.
Yeah, that's me. I don't recall playing it. If I did, I do remember the game though. It was fairly popular at the time. Are you at all interested in this Carve snowboarding?
You know, I mean, I played the little downhill. What's the thing that was on App Lab that's like skiing? I tried that recently, you know, the little downhill skiing that they
Oh
have on
yeah,
App Lab that
yeah, I know
it
what you're
was like a
talking about.
free demo. And and then also looking at the graphics of this one, like it looks very Questified to me. I don't know. I think this is going to be one of these where it's like people are going to have to be ranting and raving about it, and then I'll be like, oh, maybe I got it wrong on that one, and maybe I need to I'm a little more negative now,
Mm.
man. I'm just gonna be honest about it, bro. This toxic positivity has gotten too much.
Well, I'll tell you what, Anthony. And this is going back around to the beginning a little bit, but that go read the reviews on Crashland and you'll get it. That's what got me. That's what got me
You and
into it.
Crashland, god damn.
It's
You
so
gotta have a
good.
Crashland t-shirt next
I
time, all right?
actually I want one. But no, I think Carve looks good. It does look a little questified, but again, for me, my two top Quest games of the year are all about gameplay. So as long as the gameplay is fun, um, I don't mind if the graphics are somewhat questified. I want things to look amazing, crisp, clear. I can deal with assets that are a little blocky, but I just want good gameplay. I am tired. What I'm tired of in VR is walking into an experience and saying, "Ooh, it looks so beautiful." Looking at my hands, looking around, walking around a little bit, maybe picking something up here or there, and then 20 minutes later getting bored because there's no gameplay to the fucking game. it looks amazing, but there's no gameplay, right? Thankfully, we're getting away from that. But I feel like some of the people that are still held up on the graphics, they need to they
Well,
re-
it's not so much just like the graphics being like simplistic, it's the sparseness of it all. It's almost like it's like you like when you're going down these mountains, it's like one rock here and one tree there. Oh, we have too many trees. Let's move this tree over here because now it's not running at 72 hertz.
Yeah, that's
Um,
true. I guess that
this
makes
is
sense.
why, ladies and gentlemen, we must move on to the Quest 2. It is time to let the Quest 1 go. I'm so sorry.
Well, and that
I
is
agree with
exactly
that.
it. That's one of the good news, that the Quest 2 for Resident Evil, right? Or 4. That news was good news, right?
Yeah, because it's a sign of things to come, right? It's the whole PS4 Slim versus PS4 Pro uh, thing all over again, where we just knew that there were a lot of PC ports that could have came to PlayStation VR that we weren't getting because of that PS, the OG PS4 requirement. And I'm glad to see that Oculus recognizes this and are uh, ready to just move on. Now, with that said, it's not like there's 80 million Quest 1s out there that they're cutting loose here, like there was with PlayStation. It's just a small fraction of their user base at this point. But what's the point in having an XR2 chip if you can't push it? So I'm glad to see them moving on. Now, with regards to this snowboarding game, I will say that with Powder, it wasn't so much about the graphics of the game. It was about what it felt like when you got going downhill. The game plays very fast, and it feels almost like playing Rush. I don't know if you played Rush VR, Anthony, but once you get going downhill, it's all about trying to control it. And I feel like that's going to be the same thing here with this snowboarding game.
How
And
was the motion sickness when you tried? I know there's a demo for Powdered too, and I freaking downloaded the demo and then never got around to it.
It didn't make me
well,
sick, but I don't get sick, so mostly.
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you know that skateboarding game's coming too, VR
mm,
Skater. And the thing I wonder about that and Powder and 1080 is like you're basically standing on a skateboard or a snowboard, and then you've got just everything's open here. So what is it like if you're moving super fast and you're going downhill? What are you looking at that's like grounding you in the experience? Because normally that would seem like that would be a recipe for motion sickness.
well, generally you're just looking for the next waypoint or some kind of a landmark to steer around.
But if those are just things that are just shooting past you, don't you need to have like your hands out or something, and then it's like, oh, your hands are here, this is part of my body, and then this stuff is moving fast, but I got my hands here to kind of ground me a little bit. You know what I mean? Like when you're in a cockpit, there's the outline of the cockpit. It's something to give you like an anchor while you're moving really fast. But I guess it
Right.
doesn't bother you.
No, it didn't bother me. There were things about that game that bothered me. But I mean, I'm hoping that most of that stuff will be ironed out in early access. It's not the easiest game to learn how to get going in, and it's very difficult, you know, to play at first. Uh, but as far as like sickness and comfort issues, I really didn't have any with it.
Don't we need feet trackers though to
Well, I'll
really
tell you
make
what
these
we
things
need.
work?
We need a board peripheral to play
Oh hell yeah! Yeah,
snowboarding.
the Tony Hawk board, right?
Right, to play VR skater. I mean, we're all about simulation here. We've got to get the board, right?
Yeah.
Just head to your local thrift store. They got some of them Tony boards stacked up, Tony Hawk boards.
Yeah, somebody said something earlier on the chat about, or maybe it was in the Discord, about that Carve game would be great to have that new Deca gear or whatever, that hip tracker. That would be a great way to a game to do it, and I kind of agree. And wanted to say thanks to Dave Station VR. Says excited to see grinding and grab tricks in the trailer briefly at least. Throwing a fiver at us, as well as Delirium Drew and Ray Delator throwing some bones at us as well. And they're happy to see you on the show, Anthony.
Hey, you know what we can do on the Quest with these skating games and snowboarding games? Take your touch controllers, duct duct tape them to your feet and then just use hand tracking for your hands.
Yeah, or old
I
phones.
don't
I
think
heard
they
that
can do both at the same time,
I
unfortunately.
heard that they can use your old cell phones now to do body tracking.
Oh, really?
Don't ask me how, but I did see that.
Wow, that's kind of crazy. I don't even know. I don't have most of my old cell phones
I got a
anymore.
bag of them, dude. I break one every day.
That's funny.
Anyway, Hussein X with the £5 donation says, "Here's another great show.
Oh,
Thank you,
yeah.
Hussein. Thanks to everybody. Ray, Drew, Dave. Thanks for the tip train, bros. We appreciate it."
Yeah,
And
tip train. Choo choo. Oh, who doesn't love a
I
tip
have,
train, right?
after all of these months of collecting the money, I have officially begun spending it now, and you guys are going to see and reap the benefits from that very soon.
Yeah, how exciting, right?
Yeah, it is exciting. I've actually gotten more excited over the last few days. Just
You're gonna give out a Reverb G2? God damn, that's incredible. You guys are
Yeah, I
I don't know how
wish.
much money you think we make here, bro, but we might be able to give out a Samsung Gear VR if we keep it up, right?
We're hoping maybe Vive when they bring out their new headset, since we've got a relationship with Viveport Infinity, maybe they'll just send us a couple headsets. We're open to it,
Maybe
Vive. Throw us a
put
bone.
it out there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Anyway, Carve Snowboarding, a cool looking game. It looked like it would be a bit more arcadey than the more simulation based Powder VR, and I think that would be a welcome change because again, my whole deal with Powder is that it was kind of hard to play, but it felt good after you got going. It looks like getting going is not going to be a problem with Carve Snowboarding, and I think that's cool.
Well, and that's what I was going to say, Anthony. Jet Island's a perfect example of what you were saying with the snowboards and the skaters and stuff. Man, that thing is, you're spinning around and doing all sorts of stuff, and I don't think people get sick. And Dave Station VR says, "Tip train caboose. Let me reap this." You know who else likes to be the caboose of the train? Dave Station.
My mom.
Oh yeah, she does.
Oh, Wolveraza coming through with $3 as well. Says, "Good show, guys. Keep it up." You know who loves it when you keep it up, Roots?
My mom.
Oh man, she's busy tonight. That's for sure.
That's right. Anyway, when the Carve reveal was over, we then moved into what was one of the highlights of the entire showcase for me, and we finally got substantial gameplay footage of After the Fall. Now they doubled down on all of the facts, the stuff we already know, right? 4-player co-op arcade shooter campaign, cross play enabled between the different platforms, coming to Quest, PC, PlayStation, the whole deal. Pretty much the perfect VR game, or at least what we want to hear at this point, right? But what we got to see was a lot more gameplay. It looks a lot more chaotic than Arizona Sunshine. Anthony, after watching this trailer coming out of it, I'm super hyped, and I got to think that this is probably my front runner now for game of the year. I think that out of all the games that we know are coming, this might be the top of my most highly anticipated list now.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this: After the Fall, like for a long time on VR game rankings, we've had this one like on our most wanted charts for like upcoming games. After the Fall has like always been in our top 10 for like a long time, and creeped into the top 5, and it's like right in like the top 3 or top 4. It's been ranked really high. And some people, like other people, will check it out and they're like, After the Fall, like I haven't really heard much about that. What is that? But this is the Arizona Sunshine guys, right? And Arizona Sunshine, like if you play Arizona Sunshine now, if you play some of the DLC now, the game is showing its age. Like it's been a really long time since Arizona Sunshine first hit the scenes, and this is their real deal follow-up. And so this should be it should be a modified game engine or a completely new game engine. And I'm excited that this was announced for Quest, because this was a rumor that it might be on Quest. Like the rumor was that this game After the Fall got delayed to summer so that they could have the Quest version ready for a simultaneous launch across all platforms. And that rumor did come true. I think this is one of the best announcements that we got actually of the whole show, because this is another big banger for the Quest, another strong game for the Quest. And hopefully the, for the developer Vertigo Games, like hopefully this game fares better than Arizona Sunshine did on the Quest. So, and it's coming to Quest 1 too. I thought this could potentially be a Quest 2 exclusive.
Do you think
You know
it's?
what?
Oh, go ahead. Wes.
I just wanted to add the anecdote here. I tried today to buy the Arizona Sunshine on
Mhm.
Oculus Quest. It's the only platform I didn't have it on, and it's a game. It's a go-to for me. It's an easy game for someone to pick up. You can bring them in the co-op. Somebody who doesn't have a lot of VR experience, and the gameplay is slow enough that you can teach someone how to play VR, a full locomotion VR shooter in Arizona Sunshine, and I've always loved it for that. And it was part of this bundle that they had on the 24-hour sale today. And every other game in this bundle I had, except Arizona Sunshine. It was going to make it $26. And there's some stupid error going on with the store, and it wouldn't let me buy it. So I just wanted to throw that in there real quick, Ruth. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, that's all right. I would definitely message them. Make sure you get
I
that
did.
deal, bro, because that's ridiculous. That's what I was gonna say. Do you think it's their own fault that it's not doing well on Quest? It's fucking expensive, bro, and it's like Anthony said, it's been
No,
out.
it's rated well. It's
Well,
rated well. But I've heard like all the people that have, I haven't actually played the Quest version of it, but all the people I've talked to that have played it are like, this isn't a shining example of Arizona Sun, like of the PCVR games that have been ported to Quest, and you feel like, wow, they got like 89% of the experience. This is not necessarily one of those games. That's what people say, but I'd love to play it myself. I think I reached out for them to try to get a key. Didn't hear anything
it's
back.
just too expensive, you know.
Yeah, I mean, it gets pricey after a while, right?
Yeah, especially for a game that's that old and with how good this new one's gonna be. I thought that trailer looked phenomenal. That was my biggest thing is, people were excited about this game right off the bat because it's 4-person co-op, it's zombies. It seemed like it was going to be fast before we saw any gameplay, right? And now I'm looking at that trailer and I'm like, my God, dude, this just is I'm excited. I think you're right, Wes. I'm more excited about that game just about than anything else that's on that list. So
I mean, there was already so much to be excited about. Just the fact that it's a co-op campaign is something amazing. We don't have enough of these. Arizona Sunshine, again, being one of my favorite games because it's a co-op campaign. And the fact that it's not only is it a co-op campaign, it's 4 players. And, we already knew all this, but what we didn't know is just how intense the gameplay was going to look, right? This is not Arizona Sunshine zombies. These things are coming at you fast. They're coming in big numbers. And dude, they look disgusting. Did you see the zombie models in this? I know a lot of the criticism of Arizona Sunshine is in the inverse kinematics, just how silly the characters that you embody look in the game. And then with the zombies and the way they look, they're all samey and kind of cartoony looking. Well, that's not going to be the case with After the Fall. These zombies look absolutely hideous, and the player characters as well, beautiful. So some definite leaps and bounds being made here by Vertigo Games over the years.
Dave,
Yeah, and this
go
this
ahead.
game's going to be on Quest, but you know where we're going to be playing it, right?
Oh yeah,
PCVR
yeah,
all day. Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt.
Dave Station
Uh,
says, you guys notice the character AI animations in the zip line scene. Actually, I didn't look at that. But like you were saying, the animations are amazing, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure I was paying attention to the character animations in that specific scene or not, but what I paid more attention to than anything were the zombie hordes and the way that they were moving, and it was terrifying, dude. I mean, they got these things crawling on walls and ceilings and stuff. This game as much as I like Arizona Sunshine and I still play it, this game that we're about to get is not Arizona Sunshine.
Looks way better. Ray Pope says, "Great to see all three of you on the one show. For 120, is that Australian dollars, or I don't know what the A means. I should know that, but
Yeah, somebody, I think I didn't see who it was. Somebody earlier in the chat asked when the game was coming out. Summer, they say. So that narrows it down a little bit. So we're not going to have to wait long. You know, we've waited a long time on this game, but you kind of have to, right, Anthony? If you're going to have a game that's cross-play between Quest, PlayStation VR, PC, everyone can play together. I mean, it kind of has to launch together, right? Not only just because you want the entire player base to get the game at the same time, but I mean, there's a certain amount of testing involved to make sure things are going to run smoothly. So it kind of makes sense that it took this long for it to come out because it's got to be a massive undertaking.
Yeah, and this is such a critical game for them because this is their big follow-up, to their last primary game, their moneymaker, and they're hoping to continue that with this one. I like the style of it and the look of it, and I just really hope though that they really have dramatically raised the bar of what they're capable of making, and that they're like leaps and bounds beyond the gameplay of Arizona Sunshine.
Yeah, I don't think that the gameplay from a technical standpoint is going to be all that different. I think that the pacing of it is going to be what makes the biggest difference. Now, with that said, really, that my only worry about this game now, aside from there being some like technical problems, which I don't think there will be, not many anyway. Uh, I just hope it's long enough because I know they're going to charge a premium price for it, right? This is a $40 game, no question, if not 50. I hope that there's enough campaign here to keep us at it for a while. I need 10 hours, right? At least.
Yeah, I mean, well, if they're coming out on PC, on Steam, on the Rift Store, and all of that, and of course they are, they'll get the fury and the wrath of PC VR players if it's short and unbelievably expensive. So
Right.
they'll have to navigate that. On Quest and PlayStation VR, those gamers aren't going to be quite as picky. Although Quest does have like this Mac. Like, are there any games priced higher than $39.99 on Quest?
Higher than that? I don't think so. I can only think of a handful that even cost that. Like maybe Saints and Sinners.
Yeah,
And what
so I
else?
think
What else is
39 is the
$40?
max right
Yeah,
now. So
yeah, yeah. So we'll see. Again, uh, it's quickly become probably my most highly anticipated game of the year, and I hope it's not over with in a flash. That's all.
well, how long is Arizona Sunshine? Like the main
It's
campaign?
8 to 10 hours. If it's as long as Arizona Sunshine, I'll be fine with it.
Yeah, I can't imagine them going back in time as far as lengthwise. I think
yeah, I
it's gonna
think
be long.
9 hours would save them.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I just have a really good feeling. It looks amazing, and I'm psyched. And like Wes said, we don't have that long to wait. And
Nope.
apparently, Drew's an arc, according to Dave Station VR, throwing a $2 tip to let us know that. So we appreciate that, Dave.
Yeah, he's also unpaid advertisement for Synth Riders multiplayer. It was unpaid to him, but it's 100% paid for me right now saying it. So, yeah, we've covered Synth Riders a couple times on the program here. But I don't think we've ever specifically covered the multiplayer, although uh, you know people raving about it in the Discord from time to time. So maybe that should be the next aspect of it that we dive into.
Yeah, we should get Anthony in there. Anthony, you down for some multiplayer Synth Riders?
I mean, I like Synth Riders. I think it's cool. I was pretty surprised by how enjoyable it was when I finally tried it.
Yeah. So have you
I like the
done?
fact that I like the fact that they have real music in there, like real artists with real music.
Yeah, I like the fact that in multiplayer you can see each other standing around while you're waiting to start. But you should try something like that, Anthony. It'd be cool.
Anyway,
Sure.
moving on from after the fall, my most anticipated release of the year gave way to my most anticipated release of the week. Wraith, the Oblivion Afterlife launches technically today at this point if you're in my time zone, but tomorrow, Thursday, the 22nd of April. A game that we've been waiting on for a good long time now. We learned about this game in the latter part of last year. Finally, the time has come to check it out, and they shared with us this awesome launch trailer, which didn't show us a whole lot more, but I do think gives a good representation of the vibe that they're trying to set in this game. Anthony, what did you think about the Wraith trailer?
Well, as I was watching the trailer, it like dawned on me, this is Fast Travel Games, man. And these are the guys that made Apex Construct. And I thought, like, I've always been a fan of Apex Construct. I liked it when it arrived on PlayStation VR before it came anywhere else. I played it there. I thought it was freaking pretty damn good. The PC version was good. I thought the Quest version of it that launched with the Quest at launch during the launch time, I thought that version was damn good. And the thing is that Apex Construct, that was their big freaking game. Okay. And they finished that. And I know that they've made some other games, and like they helped Neat Corporation with budget cuts too. And they did the Curious Tale of the Stolen Pets and stuff like that. But this game, Wraith, is their next big one. Like, this is the true follow-up to Apex Construct, in my opinion. And so I'm excited from that angle. Like, I was just seeing the way like the rooms and things and the way the environments are laid out, and I was like, yeah, this does kind of remind me of Apex Construct. And I'm not saying that Apex Construct is like the greatest game in the world. That was an early VR game, but it gives you a glimpse. Like, this is a developer that has grown up with VR. This is a developer that have established themselves in VR. And there's a lot of developers that are doing this, that are making a name for themselves in virtual reality. And as virtual reality continues, these are going to be some of the future superstar developers of the future.
Yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with everything you said about Apex Construct and Fast Travel Games. Now, that said, admittedly, uh, this studio has been super cool to us from day one. These are, by any definition, these are friends of the channel. But with that said, it's absolutely true. These guys know how to make a quality VR game. They've never put out garbage before, and Apex Construct was good on every platform. And beyond all of that, I'm a horror game buff. I love evil games, and when you watch this trailer, there's a certain malevolence that you get from the vibe of it. Um, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here. But I don't want to save too much about the game, but if you like this trailer the way I did, then you're super pumped for tomorrow, and I already know what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I think it looks like it's gonna be an amazing tale. Like I I just that I love the way that building looks like walking around, and just how it's gonna be amazing. So, well,
Yeah, and the voice work in the trailer, I mean, it's spine chilling, right? The voice work in this thing.
yep, yeah,
I
Anyway,
also think it'll probably take really good advantage of the Quest 2 as well. Like, I think this game was far enough. I mean, it was developed far enough ago. They probably had advanced knowledge of the Quest 2. And I think there's going to be a lot of developers. The game's going to be on Quest 1 and Quest 2, and it's basically going to be the same game. But I think developers are almost going to be like making two different games at the same time in a way where it's like the Quest 2 version is like almost its own little deal.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know. I certainly think that this game was probably developed with the Quest in mind first. You know, because let's be honest, it's been the darling of the VR world for at least the last year. Now the question is, when did they start developing this game? That we don't know. But I have a feeling that this thing came together pretty quick because again, these are kind of friends of the channel, and I remember when this project got greenlit, and it wasn't that long ago. So it's actually kind of impressive that it's launching as soon as it is.
Yeah. Yeah, and everybody, all the content creators that I've talked to that were in that trailer, have said that they liked it. So, or at least the ones that were allowed to say anything about it. So,
Wonder how scary it's going to be
yeah, that's what I always wonder because
for the people that can't handle it.
yeah, true.
Mm. Oh yeah. Well, tune in tomorrow. We'll talk about that. Anyway, it was a super cool trailer, and I think if you like the trailer, you're probably going to like the game. I think I can say that.
Yeah.
With confidence. From there, here we go, Anthony. From there, we moved on to the Climb 2. Now, I was actually happy to see the Climb 2 when they first started talking about it, because I thought, yes, finally a game here, a game much like Lone Echo, that's known for its visual experience, is finally going to get a PC release. But that's not what we got, Anthony. What did we get here exactly? Because I'm still kind of weird about what this even is.
Well, no, the main thing I wanted to say about this is when I was watching this live, I thought for sure that they were going to say that this was coming to PC.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
and I mean, it just felt like they were, and did she almost even accidentally almost say that, or it almost seemed like it was going to happen, right? And then it didn't happen. But it was interesting because earlier we got the Warhammer thing, and there were just things that were happening where I was like, wow, maybe Oculus isn't as anti-PC as I thought they were going to be. If they're bringing Warhammer to PC, they're bringing the Climb 2 to PC, then maybe this is just like a temporary exclusive thing, and these things are going to find their way to PCVR. But then she never said that, and then so it didn't happen. But I got faked out on it.
Yeah, me too, dude. Total shock here. Like it was almost to the point where at the end of the segment I wanted to take it back just to make sure I didn't hear PC, because I was so sure that that's what this was going to be, but instead it was this kind of freestyle mode or whatever. I guess I don't know what the exact hook is of it. It just basically looked to me like the climbing game without any of the good stuff that you like about the climb, with the visuals and stuff. Roots, shocked as we are that this game isn't making it to PC just yet.
Yeah. I wasn't really even thinking of it from that perspective, but yeah, it should have already been here, right? I'm surprised it didn't come on release. And do we even know it? Have they said it's coming for sure?
No, they've said it's not. They've said that this is a Quest 2 exclusive, but again, it would be like saying that Lone Echo 2 is a Quest 2 exclusive. It's weird that a game that's so heavily reliant upon visuals would be limited to standalone. That's basically all that I'm saying.
It just shows their focus, and it just shows you that what we were saying earlier is exactly true. Like
but then they went the other way with like Lone Echo 2 being PC. So it's weird because it's like lots of mixed messages, right?
Well, Lone Echo 2, because like we said, it was made Wes had said, all the people that played it were PCVR players. They're the ones that know about it. They're the ones that care about it. It needs to look good. But something like this, or all these different exclusives is just one more reason you have to get the Quest 2. It's getting to a point where people like Jarillo or Scion or whoever that swear they're never getting a Quest 2. At some point, something's going to come out and they're going to say, oh, fuck, man, maybe I have to get this. That's what they're pushing for, right? Like all these exclusives, that's the only thing. And it makes sense. Sony does it. Microsoft used to do it with Xbox, but exclusive sell your console. So
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, I totally get that. I just, it was a big fake out for me because I still don't believe that this game is going to be an exclusive forever. I just don't. I think that there's too much potential here as a PC title for it to remain on standalone. But I guess time will tell.
yeah, true.
We've got a couple more tips here. Dave coming through once again, dude. You're going to buy me a new car tonight. I appreciate it. Drew, he says Drew is also a liar. Like we didn't know that already, bro.
Oh yeah,
I'm telling you, you're getting close to your Reverb G2.
that's right.
And person coming through with $5 just because he's a cool dude.
Yeah, and he's got that cool mountain man picture. What was that? I can't remember what movie that was from.
Yeah, I don't know. I know the GIF. I don't remember what movie it's from. I've seen the GIF like 50 times.
Yeah, I've seen the movie. It was good back in the day.
Anyway, coming out of the Climb 2 DLC reveal, that exciting Climb 2 DLC reveal, we got to the grand finale of the day, and it was a good one, worth the wait, in my opinion, as The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners showed a new trailer for its coming soon, and legit coming soon this time, Aftershocks DLC. This is DLC that's coming May 20th, so less than a month now away. We're going to get DLC for The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. Now, we knew that Skydance was coming to the party, right? And everyone kind of assumed that it had to be co-op because this is the one thing that everybody's been asking for, right? Since we asked for it, everyone else has started asking for it as well. And while it isn't confirmed, because the trailer was kind of vague, there was a lot of confusion about what this actually is. It appears that this is story DLC, and it appears that it's single player and you'll be playing as the tourist. Since the trailer launched, we have indeed learned that this will be free DLC. It will be story DLC. Apparently, there are caches from the reserve, weapons caches, supply caches popping up all around the city, and it's creating a scramble between the different factions to collect them. This will bring about new missions, new weapons, and new in-game items for you to use to survive. But that's all we know at this point about it. Anthony, I was confused when I saw this trailer. I thought that that this was actually, I mean, from the audio clips, it made it sound like you were going to be playing one of the Reclaimed in it. But apparently that's not the case. Were you as confused as the rest of us were watching this thing, trying to figure out what it was?
No, because you know what? Honestly, a lot of the times with these games, it's like all the little add-on story things that happen. You know, like that's this thing that's going on in modern gaming, right? Where you release a game and then it's like, you know, the 2089 thing and the other little deals, like all these little DLC things that are added on. I've never really been that guy, because you know why I've never been that guy? Because I'm the guy that's still stuck in the freaking main game. Okay. I'm still stuck in the regular Walking Dead Saints and Sinners. I'm like 75% of the way through, but I'm still stuck. And so I haven't tried any of these little DLC things. But I know how people are, though. They fall in love with a certain game. They play every little inch of it. They love it. They know it. Every DLC that comes out, they jump on that and they play it and they're hyped for it. And this is one of the greatest. I mean, The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners is like one of our absolute mega hit games in VR. The visceral effect of just, you know, the way it feels to be in that game is awesome. So I totally understand why people are so hyped about this game. It's weird. Like, also, one thing I would think about here is like Skydance Interactive, they did Archangel, which Archangel, the single player game before they did the mech multiplayer thing, I actually liked that old single player game that they first had. Then they did the mech thing, right? Then they did this, which like totally saved their ass because like this one blew up huge and they made tons of money off of it. My question is, where are they going next? Like, are they going to do another Walking Dead game that's going to be a complete entire game? And part of me is a little bit worried. You keep doing all these little side stories, when are you going to be able to have time to work, unless they've like split into multiple teams and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, because I want to, like, these guys are crazy talented. The people that are working on this game, like Skydance Interactive, like the original people that did, like, people were sleeping on Archangel. They had no idea how talented this studio was. And then, of course, now with Saints and Sinners, now everybody knows. But like, they've got chops, and I want to see what they come up with next.
Well, where are you stuck, Anthony? GamerCheck might be able to help you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a long time, man. No, you know what? I get confused of like, I'm like stuck in the story somehow of like, do I need to go to this place? Do I need to go back to the graveyard? I'm like missing something somewhere. And I'm like, it's probably something super easy and simple. And it's like probably right in front of my face. And I can't, this happens to me a lot in VR. Some little thing that's obvious, everybody finds it immediately, and for me it takes a million years.
Well, the good thing about this game, and one of the things that makes it so great, is there is no one path through it. There are multiple paths through this game, and I don't mean just two. There are multiple ways to make it through this game. So if I could give you any advice, it would be to just go. Just keep going, dude. Just if there's someplace you haven't go there, because there is no set path to make it through this game. I couldn't be more excited that we're getting more story DLC. In fact, I don't know if it was a private conversation or something that we've said on the show recently, but I was asking the question, what would you rather have, the trial co-op mode or single player story DLC? And for me, story DLC of any kind is going to trump wave-based stuff of any kind. So, well, at the end of the day, I'm like everyone else, and I would have enjoyed some co-op a co-op campaign here. I don't really expect that to come until what we just talked about, Anthony, the sequel. I think there absolutely is going to be a sequel for this game because it's the top 2 or 3 games, no matter what platform you pick. This is the best Oculus Quest game, hands down. It's probably the best PlayStation VR game too, although Resident Evil 7.
It's ranked third right now. Not just
Oh, right. But I mean, it's an amazing game. I'm glad to see that this is not like a concurrent story from a different perspective, but is instead this is story DLC that takes place after the main campaign. So you can't even play this until you beat it, Anthony. So it doesn't matter if you want to check it out or not. You got to make it through the story campaign to even access it. Yeah.
Tiffany says Dave Station VR is a liar, pants on fire, and Gorilla's a brat. You're throwing down a $5 donation. I agree with that as well. I think this is why I was excited about the news the way it is. Although I would like co-op, I did beat the game a long time ago, and ever since I beat the game, I want more. Like, I want more content. So the thought of being able to play through more content, more story is awesome. I think it's amazing, and I think you're right, Wes. I think a sequel is coming, and I can't wait for that as well.
Yeah, the sequel will be where your co-op comes into play. I think that enough people have asked for it now that they're, I mean, obviously that they aim to please here with all of this DLC. Let me ask you this. I'm kind of surprised here that this is not paid DLC. This is free. This is a free story update to the game as it is already. Are you surprised, like I am, Roots, that we're going to get this gift from Skydance?
Oh, Skydance is amazing. Yeah, it's pretty surprising. You would think that there would be a $10 price tag at least, right? That would be fair. I'd pay $10 for more campaign for sure.
Yeah. What about you, Anthony? Surprised it's free?
Well, I mean, I'm a little bit surprised, but also there is like when you do have this thing that's going on with them in the community and you've solidified yourself as like having one of the most incredible VR games out there, sometimes it's like just keep giving and giving and like really lock it down and truly solidify it. Kind of what Cloudhead is doing as well, right?
Yeah.
Ray Delator wants to know if the sequel will be on PCVR also. And Tiffany's like shaking her head here because she, like who knows what's really going on. We're putting all sorts of words in everybody's mouth of what's coming, right? But I'm excited.
Speculation, right? It's run amok. Delirium Juice says Skydance Dev gives money to virtual strangers for positive opinions live on air. Well, there you go, guys. You know why we picked it as Game of the Year last year. It was all these $2 donations, $5 donations. They add up, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dave Station VR said something interesting here. He says it may be a hot take, but I prefer Saints and Sinners as a single player experience. Let other devs do Left 4 Dead knockoffs. Now, I agree. We don't need, well, I mean, I guess we do need at least one Left 4 Dead knockoff, but it shouldn't be this. But when I think about, and pay attention, Tiffany, you can take this back to your coworkers there. When I think about co-op campaign for a game as unique as The Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, I think of co-op gameplay that is also unique. And this is what I mean by that. I don't need, I want to play this game with Roots. I don't need Roots to be holding my hand the entire time. There's a big map. There are a lot of objectives in this game. We hang our hats in the same place at the end of each day, but maybe tomorrow we've got 2 or 3 different things that we need to get done. Roots, you go to Via Corolla and collect this object that we need. I'm going to go to the churchyard and look for this other thing. We've got walkie-talkies. We can communicate with one another while we're doing it. Or maybe there's some information in this house over here that I need to access what I'm going to do over there, but we only have so much time to get the job done. So we can't go together. We have to split up. So what I'm saying is we could do co-op without it being Left 4 Dead. We could do our own brand of co-op where we play together some, we separate some. With a game like this, it's all about the storytelling. It's all about being able to choose your own path. And I feel like tethering 2 people together and making them walk together through the experience wouldn't seem genuine, almost immersion breaking. So
what about the take of there's no game that's really like what is that, A Way Out, the one where you're breaking out of prison, the flat game where everything everything you have to do, like you can't do anything without each other, like you have to clop a wall, I got to get down and pop you up. And maybe like exactly what you said, maybe we got to be in 2 different places. One's unlocking this or distracting while the other person's. I mean, there's so many possibilities of what you could do with it. I think it's a really good idea.
Right. So what Roots is talking about here is cooperative tasks being put in the game, things that you can only complete together, other than just taking on a zombie horde together or something. Maybe the only way into a house is through a high window or something, and you need a boost. This sort of gameplay, I agree that I wouldn't want it to be like a No Way Out where the whole game's based on it, but I would certainly love for some of that stuff to be put in. So I go to complete a task while you're over here doing something else. I see that I'm going to need help, so the next day we come back together and tackle it together. Yeah, I think that that's a good point as well.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
But anyway, that's my 2 cents on that. I'd love to see co-op in this game. but I'd like to see it done right. And I think the only way they really could do it right is in a sequel. So this is my wish list. Make it happen. Make it so. Anyway, that's going to wrap up the Oculus Showcase. That's everything they gave us. I think a lot of people were expecting that co-op reveal there with the Walking Dead Saints and Sinners, and when they didn't get that, I think it kind of took the breath out of a lot of people's sails because we all love this game so much. We want to share it with a friend. That said, I think that they, all in all, while it wasn't a perfect showcase, we got a lot of good stuff here. And my overall feeling coming out of it was excitement. Anthony, how did you feel at the end of this thing?
Yeah, well, when it was actually happening, I was like, this is terrible. This is lame. This is so freaking weak. What is going on? Like, there was nothing big, I mean, so I had a lot of complaints at first. But when I started to think about it a little bit more, like after it ended and everything, I thought about the fact that, wait a minute, we didn't have GDC. There was no, there wasn't a real game developers conference, right? In March, like it normally happens. And I have to imagine that most of this stuff is the type of stuff that they would have shown off at GDC. Now, I would be tremendously disappointed if I thought that this was going to be the only kind of gaming conference that the only kind of gaming conference that they were going to have this year. Super disappointing, but I'm sure they're going to have something later in the year, and we'll probably find out about Assassin's Creed. We'll probably find out about Splinter Cell. We didn't find out about Jurassic World Aftermath Part 2. We didn't find out about Project 4 from Stress Level Zero. They were working on a special Boneworks light game for the Quest that's eventually going to come to other platforms as well. And yeah, so I felt like there was a lot of information we didn't get. And I also felt like Oculus, at a certain point, they do need to step it up and start bringing some AAA fare to their primary platform, which is at this point, it's the Oculus Quest 2. And if they're not going to have like Sanzaru or Ready at Dawn, then they got to go out and hire some external developer and make it happen. Like they need to start stepping up. Their thing is sold incredibly well. It sold great in the pandemic. The timing and everything was perfect. Now they got to step up a little bit and like spend a little bit of money. Yeah, and
Yeah,
Rockstar as well.
right. PD joining the chat says no Rockstar. Right. I'll say this. I'd bet my bank account that Sanzaru is working on a Quest game right now. I guarantee that that's what they're doing.
Yeah, but 2 years away.
Well, it takes time, dude. You don't make AAA games in 6 months unless you're fast travel games. Apparently, they're, that's what fast travel is referring to, right? The development cycle. But no, I think these games are coming. I just don't think that they're ready to show yet. In fact, I know that they're coming because they said that they're coming recently. Now, with that said, we need to remember here that this isn't Sony. This isn't E3. I think what you're saying here about there was no game developers conference is relevant. I also would like to point out that at the end of April is when normally we would get the big Facebook conference, right? Where they revealed the Quest at. But with that said, Oculus has never been about a ton of big game reveals. They drop one here, one there at these larger events as they're covering a bevy of other things. So to have a concentrated half hour from them that's nothing but games is a big change for them. And I feel like a welcoming one that kind of alludes to what I was talking about earlier, where I think they're trying to assert themselves more as a gaming company now. I think it's a change in direction for them. I think they know that people aren't going to swallow the Horizon pill that they were getting ready to shove down all of our throats, and they're pivoting. And as a VR gamer, I think it's a welcome pivot. And I think that while we didn't get those big exclusive games that we all know are coming. We all still know that they're coming, and over all in all, I was pleased with it. At the end of the day, Roots, what was your takeaway at the end of this thing?
It's good. I mean, I would have liked to hear some Rockstar news just like everybody else, but we all forget that VR seems to be a little bit different than flat gaming news, right? Or announcements anyway. I mean, how many times have we not even heard of a game and all of a sudden it's out tomorrow? I mean, just because we didn't see any footage on any of these games doesn't mean we're that far away. They could announce next month that Rockstar is announcing or releasing GTA 5, in June. I mean, it could happen. It's probably not likely, but we just you just never know. I think that you're right. They're out there. They're being made, and we don't know how long they've been making them. So I think we're closer than we think on most of these games, or a lot of them anyway.
But they
Yeah.
also need to think ahead though. Like I mean the actual strategy that I don't know, I feel like Oculus, some of their strategy, some of their marketing, some of the way they do things, I don't think they've done a flawless job at all.
Well, VR in
Like where
general.
they've put their money, like if you go back to the PCVR days when they, Zuckerberg was up on stage and he's like, yeah, we've got $200 million, and they gave Epic Games, 10 million for Robo Recall. Now that was an effective 10 million. I'm good with that. But like the other bets that they made with some of their money, honestly, like Unspoken and stuff, like some of those were swings and misses in my opinion, and there could have been a lot of money going to those places, and that money could have went to FIFA VR or something like that. Now I don't know, but I just think there could have been some smarter ideas.
Oh, for sure, for sure. No, we're all kind of figuring this thing out together. But I do think that they are being a bit forward thinking, and I think that that might be why they didn't want to empty out all of the eggs out of their basket here too, because VR is a weird place where the landscape changes quickly. Tomorrow, a new headset could drop. Tomorrow, a new game could drop, not only be announced, but drop. There's always new news and things to contend with in terms of competition for them. So I think it's kind of a good idea to keep some bullets in your chamber. You already know that there's new hardware and new platforms launching next year. You also already know that the holiday shopping season is far away from now. So it's probably a good idea to sit on some of this stuff till later in the year, early next year, when the games are actually going to be a little closer to launching anyway.
Yeah. Agreed.
Dave Station VR with the $2 tip says unpaid advertisement for Whiplash VR in Dreams, and he also went on to say that it's released a new level and it's an awesome shooter inspired by House of the Dead and stuff.
Ooh, have you tried that,
a
Wes?
cult classic. No, actually, I'm ashamed to say that I haven't been in the Dreams in a very long time. I haven't even tried Dreams on my PlayStation 5 yet. That's how long it's been since I've checked out Dreams.
Wow.
So
Wow.
I'll try to remember.
Well, Whiplash VR must be so good that Dave took out a loan from his 401k so that he could tell us Whiplash VR, bro. We appreciate it, Dave.
Well, if it's as good as he's saying it is, I won't only try it because I've got to. Generally, the way I go with PlayStation VR is if I've got one thing to play, I'll go play a few. And I've got to get into Alvo, man. I got to get in there and check out some Alvo. So while I'm in there, I'll try to make it a point to check out Dreams as well and Whiplash. And if it's awesome, like he says, it's awesome. As I
Wait,
normally
did you just bring up Alvo? Did you just bring up Alvo?
Yeah.
I did. For half a
Dude,
second, I did.
Alvo on PlayStation VR, it's so funny. You know how I talk about toxic positivity and stuff? And on the PlayStation VR subreddit, like it's funny how the whole Alvo thing went, because at first it was like everybody's like, you gotta love Alvo, you gotta love Alvo, you gotta love Alvo. And then everybody bought Alvo. And like most of them were like, I love Alvo, I love Alvo. But now in the last couple of days, it's like taking a dark turn, and everybody's
Do I
like,
love Elbow? Do I
yeah,
love
people are like,
Elbow?
no, I don't love Albo, and I'm gonna tell the truth. Albo freaking sucks. But they're still hopeful it's gonna get better. It's so weird how it is on PlayStation VR. They're like, they become so dedicated about like one specific game because Sony is not giving them a steady drip feed of titles. Like they barely get one game here, one game there, and so it's so important to them. Like Alvo became such a critical thing.
Well,
It's
yeah, if you
crazy.
like you said, if you don't have many titles, it's like it's new. I don't care what it is. It's something new, dude. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna like it. Uh,
I
so
will. I will say this though. It's not completely unexpected. If you look at the last year, say of a PlayStation 4 or a PlayStation 3, this is kind of the model with them. They slow it down to a drip. You get a few titles, but generally they turn out to be bangers. You get Hitman 3, you get Doom 3, you get Fracked. You get some pretty substantial stuff, even though it might not be as frequent as it would be in years past.
but Dave's got a good point. It'll change with PSVR too, and we're
Oh,
not that far
100%.
away. So
But
The,
I
the
don't
games
give
that
Sony a free pass for this. You know why? Because like, yeah, you're talking about PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 to PlayStation 5, but PSVR 2 isn't here yet. There's nothing that has eliminated PlayStation VR 1. If you're a PlayStation VR 1 gamer and that's your freaking bag, there's nothing that has come along and disrupted that. Sony could continue to deliver a steady stream of titles well into the getting to the point of actually launching PlayStation VR 2. They didn't necessarily have to cut everything off and like for 8 months, damn near nothing. And we'll give you one little game and you better freaking love it because that's all you're going to get. I'm sorry, they don't get a free pass for this.
well,
Like,
I think you're kind of misrepresenting what they do on the standard consoles, though. They
but this
they
isn't a
they didn't
console.
they didn't wait until PlayStation 5 came along to slow it down with PlayStation 4. The previous year they had like three, maybe four big exclusives, and that was it. Well, they had their Ghost of Tsushima, their Last of Us 2, and I think like one other big title, but that was it. This is how they do. They taper off, and then when
I
the
have no disagreements with the console aspect of it, but what I'm saying is is PlayStation VR is its own little ecosystem. If you're a PlayStation VR gamer, there's nothing that has come along and disturbed that. They could continue to deliver PlayStation VR games every single month. They've got a million pieces. If they would lighten up a little bit on their requirements for like getting their games approved, there's a million PC VR developers that have been trying to get games on PlayStation VR. I don't know. I don't want to give them a free pass. Like I know
well,
everybody
I,
does, but
I I don't either, and this is what I would say that I would do differently if I were them. The day that PlayStation 5 launched, they should have cut the OG PS4 requirement loose. Now the bottom, the least common denominator becomes the PlayStation 4 Pro, and then we allow PlayStation VR 1 games to be PlayStation 5 enhanced. You know, they can be to some extent now, but they're still forced to play through backwards compatibility mode. I feel like they could have taken a better approach to how PSVR 1 runs on the new console. And I think that if they allowed for this kind of middle step to be taken, that we would see more new games now. Because it's not that people aren't developing PlayStation VR games, it's that they're developing PlayStation 5 games for VR. And since Sony won't allow developers to make PlayStation 5 games for PSVR 1, we kind of just have to wait on the games now until we get the new headset.
yeah, Tiffany's got a good point. She says games were in production and they need to launch. Once PSVR 2 was announced, devs had to reassess whether it's worth launching now or making it bigger for the PSVR 2. So there's a lot of decisions on for them as well, right? It's like which platform do you want to focus on?
Yeah, I think the dam's going to break when the new headset comes out. I hope it's not holiday 22 before they launch it.
I think every platform holder has a responsibility. Like a company has a responsibility to their shareholders. A platform holder has a responsibility to deliver one banger a quarter. That's it. Just 4 big ones a year, man. You can if you can't deliver 4 bangers a year, you've got problems. And
Have they
Sony
failed
did
at
not,
that?
huh?
Have they failed at that though? Really? I
Well, I
mean,
mean, if you're
they.
counting Dreams, I guess you could squeeze it in.
So what did they miss one Q4 last year? Is that what you're saying? Because we got Hitman. We got Hitman in Q1 this year. We're getting
Yeah,
Fracked in
Q4 of
Q2.
last year.
Okay, so maybe they missed a quarter. I don't even know that that's true.
But
I'd have to go
did
back and look.
Iron Man a banger? Because I must have missed it. I don't think
Yeah,
Iron Man was a banger.
yeah, I liked Iron Man,
It
dude.
was
That
supposed
was
to be a banger.
it was a pretty good game, bro.
Have you played it on
Um,
the PlayStation 5 yet? I heard it's a lot better performance wise through there, right?
Yeah, no, I have not played it. I don't have a PlayStation 5.
Me
I
neither.
need like for me to buy a PlayStation 5, I'm going to need like a seriously compelling reason. Because
uh,
to me, that's like I could buy a video card. There might be like a new VR headset from Valve, you know. I mean, the money doesn't grow on trees, right? So it's like it can't just go everywhere. I can't just buy a PS5 because it looks sexy, bruh. You know,
now
it's gotta really.
I'll give you a reason to buy a PlayStation 5. It's because you're going to buy one. When PlayStation VR2 launches, you're going to buy one, and you don't want to have to buy both at the same time. So you might as well just go ahead and eat half of the cost now.
Well, and I would submit that there's no guarantee you're going to be able to find a PlayStation 5 when that happens, because technology seems to be getting harder to get, not easier, as time goes by with this shutting the whole world down that's going on. So
That's true in most cases. Although I will say that Quest 2 is getting easier to get, man. I went into Walmart the other day and there was 12 of them in there. It was crazy.
that is crazy.
Farpoint 2 might get me to move a muscle. But you know what? Hey, whatever happened to Impulse Gear? Didn't they have a big announcement they're going to make?
It's coming.
And they said
It's
a VR
coming.
game is coming this year. So
Yep.
it might be for PCVR.
I think it's going to be a cross plat, but that's just speculation on my part. Yeah, I think I think it will be on PC as well as probably Quest and PlayStation too. So, anyway, with that said, I guess we need to get on to our games segment. I don't suppose you want to hang out and talk about Maskmaker, huh, Anthony?
You know, I will. I'm gonna let you guys. I mean, I'll check out if that's okay. But if I check out though, is it gonna screw up your whole thing?
No,
for, like, the
because
video
I've got the
windows
scenes set up.
for you guys.
Yeah, just for us.
okay for the normal.
Yep.
stuff.
And even if it
Okay.
breaks it, we'll just keep on doing what we've been doing here with the back and forth between the Zoom frame and the trailers. So we'll be good, man. Thanks for coming on, man. We really appreciate it. We don't do this enough because we need a different viewpoint on the show from time to time, and I guess sometimes maybe we engage in a little toxic positivity, and it's good to have Anthony come on every now and then and
yeah,
break
you
balance
get
that
it
some
up.
out.
good negativity injected in there, right? Like, no,
Yeah.
this is
Anyways,
fun, man. Yeah, I loved it.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you're always welcome on anytime you've got some something on your mind that you want to talk about. Even if I don't invite you every week, you're always welcome. So just so you know, we appreciate you coming on and hope to have you on again soon.
Yeah, we've always got
Absolutely.
we've always got
Absolutely, guys.
we've always got a setting at the table for you, waiting every dinner time. You're there. We're waiting for you.
Oh yeah, you put that extra plate out there.
Yeah,
for
we're
me.
waiting for you,
Oh,
bro.
that's sweet.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, have a great one, and we'll see you in a couple hours.
All right. Later.
All right.
All right, man.
Bye.
Take it easy. Thanks. All right, guys. So that was Anthony from VR365. I'm sure you guys already know who he is and already know all about his channel. But if you don't, now you do. Go check it out. Go be sure to subscribe and check out VR Game Rankings too, because apparently it's back from the dead, and that's a good thing, not a bad thing. I'm glad he decided to stick with it there and keep it going for another year. Because I mean, my feeling with the VR Game Rankings Roots is that uh, the 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 rise of the Oculus Quest platform and App Lab and all of this stuff, the VR landscape is changing. I think there's room for new categories and new rankings that need to be done on info that people are looking for. And I feel like he has a unique opportunity to be the source of that kind of information.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to find this Zoom call. Oh, there it is. So I can switch this back because I don't think they need to see an extra one of me. There we go. Although now I got to move you back.
Boom.
So we got all sorts of technical things going on. But yeah, I agree. It's always good to have an extra opinion on things, right? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It is good to have Anthony's take because his opinions are very often diametrically opposed to mine, especially when it comes to like PlayStation VR and stuff. And normally, when I'm watching him on his podcast, I often find myself typing things into the chat that he doesn't read. I find myself yelling at the television, and it's nice to actually have the guy here so I can lay down a counterpoint uh, w- to maybe affect his worldview a little bit. So yeah, always fun to have him on, and hopefully it won't be long before he's back.
yeah, absolutely. And I guess we'll start off this maker conversation by saying thanks to Dave Station VR for another $5. He's actually asking if it's actually a Metroidvania or is it just boring?
I mean, I guess we'll get into that. Again, this is a Maskmaker. It's a new release from Inner Space VR. It was released yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, on the 20th. It was released on 420. Pretty good 420 title, actually, in some aspects. But this game is available on PCVR, I think through both Steam and the Oculus Store. It's available on PlayStation VR and not available, interestingly, on Oculus Quest. So this is this is for console VR and PC-based VR only. Um, Thank you to Interspace VR for providing Roots and I with a review copy of it. But I found it interesting, Roots. We spent a better part of a week trying to figure out a way for us to share this one copy of the game because times have changed and it's not so easy to do that anymore. And then at the end of the day, we both just ended up playing it on Viport, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah, and that was what was kind of funny because I totally spaced it, and then I went to go use it. Couldn't. You reminded me it was on Viveport Infinity, and just another reason why Viveport Infinity is the best deal in PCVR, hands down. Because this game, you get to play it on day one, and it's amazing. I these are the same people that made what's the name of that other one, right? With the I always think of that other puzzle game.
Fisherman's
Yeah,
Tale.
Fisherman's Tale. So it's kind of similar to that in a sense of surrealness, and then completely different because it's completely different. What one thing that I loved about this, Wes, is I was watching it. I kind of felt like I was what we were talking about when Anthony was on. That feeling like you're in a story. It was one of the first times I really legit was like really drawn into this, what was going on in this story, and I just was really cool. It felt really, the production values are really good.
Yeah, you're echoing what exactly stuck out to me about it. Now, Dave asks, "Is it boring?" And I feel like if you ask 50 people that question, you're going to get 50 different answers from them, and it's never going to be a straight yes or a straight no. I think some people would find this game boring because it's not the most action-based gameplay. It's not even really all that puzzle heavy. It's more than puzzles. There's problem solving here, but really none of that's even what it's about. It's all about the storytelling here. And what makes it so great is the production value of the game. I enjoyed this game on my HP Reverb G2, and unlike a lot of games, this game played flawlessly on my G2. I played it through Viport. I didn't turn any settings down, and it played wonderfully. Now there was maybe 2 or 3 spots where I had a couple of frame skips, but it left as quickly as it came, and for the most part, it was a smooth experience. Now, what you're saying here is true. It's all about the storytelling, and as much as this feels like a game, it feels like you're in one of these animated VR experiences, like one of these like Wolves in the Wall or Crow the Gathering or The Great Sea. It feels like you're in one of those, but instead of a spectator, you're a participant in it. And obviously, it's on a much grander scale than any of those short sub 1 hour stories. This is a much more longer, drawn out story, especially since you're participating in it. And I really enjoyed it. It kind of felt like being in, I don't know, one of the good Disney films or something.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, in the beginning, I was like, wow, this is so cool. The way that the story was unfolding. And I don't know, man. I really enjoyed it. Now, Dave Station says that I guess the PlayStation VR is having, it doesn't run well right now. That if you use smooth locomotion and you turn, you'll get bad frame rates, and it'll turn slow, almost sickeningly slow. So hopefully
Well,
they got
I
a
will
patch.
say this. Yeah, I will say this. The turn speed on it, even turned all the way up, is ridiculously slow. Like it didn't make me sick, but like it was almost unusable that because it was so slow. The walking speed very slow as well. I had to run everywhere in it, which was probably even a little too fast. But I mean, it was much more preferable than the super slow walking. So my preferred locomotion with the game was to run with quick turning because the smooth turning was just too slow. How did you play it, Roots?
I used the smooth turning, but it was very slow. And it's funny that you say that about the running. Because the first time I ran, because it was walking so slow, I was like, oh shit, like it shocked me because I wasn't expecting it to take off so fast. I mean, I like to run that fast anyway or move that fast in general, but it was a shock because the moving is very slow, absolutely. But I would agree with the aspect of it being more of an experience. You're essentially, they give you a telescope, and you're going from one area to next looking for the next version of a mask. Like you'll see a ways away, there'll be something, a guy, and it'll be a new mask, and you kind of have to study it through the telescope, and then they give you the pattern, and then you got to find certain things to go back, take them back to the um to this little nook, mask making nook, and make your masks, and then you get to go to the next new world. So it was really cool. I kind of like the mask making, the chiseling. It was super cool. I found this little hidden room, and got to go in there. I just really enjoyed the way that the story is unfolding, and makes
Yeah.
me want to go back and play it, right, for the story.
Yeah,
So
yeah, exactly. And it is a game. It's an exploration game. I wouldn't call it exactly a puzzle game per se, but it's a bit of a fetch quest exploration type game. And I see where people draw the Metroidvania comparisons, although I wouldn't quite call it a Metroidvania game. But there's a lot of world hopping and backtracking in it. It's not linear. In the linearness that it does have, or linearity rather that it does have, is well disguised uh, through the exploration, meaning that it appears that you have even more freedom than you really do have, because your path forward is determined by the mask making components that you're able to find. So it may seem like you're able to go anywhere that you want, but really you can only go to where the next set of components are going to be at, and it's generally not that hard to figure out where you need to go find them. Now, it isn't always easy to find them because some of these are little tiny things in a fairly big map. You know, after you unlock a few masks in one of these worlds, the map gets pretty big, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and there's it's just really cool. It's very it's more of an exploration game than anything, right? You're just constantly roaming around, checking things out, learning the story, finding the new things, unlocking the masks, and I don't know. I definitely recommend it. Now, I guess Dave says that it's the one of the few games that's actually made Brian sick. Um, and
Yeah, that's unfortunate because um, I got to be honest. I was impressed with this. It kind of made me feel like a fool having not played the Fisherman's Tale, um, because again, I played it on my. You know, I get that the PlayStation version was significantly different performance wise, but playing in my G2, I was almost expecting performance issues, and I didn't have any, so that was odd. It was an outlier that normally I would have performance issues, but I didn't. Um, the gameplay I would call slightly above average. Like uh, the it's a unique mechanic. The way that you craft these masks, it's not something that we've ever done before, and it's actually really cool. The concept of putting the masks on to teleport yourself someplace and then being able to pull them off and realizing that you never went anywhere. It reminded me of playing Golem, where you have that little looking glass thing that you look through to, you know, the girl is paralyzed in her bedroom. She can't leave and go anywhere. So you use this looking glass to possess these golems. It's a very similar mechanic to that as you're putting on these masks and possessing these people that are in these levels. Uh, so I really enjoyed that aspect to it. But really, what makes this game so great is a couple of the things that I enjoy the most about VR. One is good storytelling, and this has great narration, the sound effects, the music, the visual polish, all top notch in this game. But beyond that, um, one of the other things that I really love the most about VR is using it as an escape, the escapism of VR, being able to leave my room and feel like I'm going to different places is one of the things I love the most about VR. And this game has that in droves. It has three different worlds, we'll call it, but each world has different levels to it. So really there's six very different worlds that you're able to visit. And with that being said, the worlds were all very different. And with the production value being so high, I felt a real sense of presence when I visited each one of them. So while the gameplay, again, average to slightly above average, I feel like in these other categories, it's so off the charts that I agree. I was really blown away by this game, and uh, highly recommend it, especially if you've got Viveport Infinity. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's free. Why not, dude? Brand new game, amazing game. And like you said, I've only gotten, I don't know how many masks you've gotten to. I've only unlocked the second different type, you know, because they have like you'll make a mask and then there's different ones you like they'll build onto it. You know, you have a different mask that looks similar, but it's got different things on its head. And then you get to a point where the mask is completely different. It's a whole new thing. You had to carve it again, and that went to a completely different world. I think it's magical. And Dave Station throwing another $5 out there says he thought the mask thing was awesome. It reminds him of Accounting Plus or virtual reality, and that was one of the coolest things about virtual reality is putting on different things and masks, or I guess in that headsets, and going to different locations, right? So it is really cool, and you're starting to see this pop up in a lot of games, right? A lot more anyway lately.
Yeah, unfortunately, much like Fisherman's Tale, virtual reality, one of those titles that I never experienced. I've never been in that one.
Yeah. Well,
So, but I can attest to the awesomeness of Accounting Plus. It's awesome. That's all I can say about that. That one's awesome. Um, but with what I was doing with regards to the development of the masks and the lineage of the masks, um, I'm kind of trying to progress in such a way that I'm saving the big turns in the story to take them all in at once, because each one of these realms that you're visiting, and I don't want to give too much of it away. I want to leave some of it for people to figure out for themselves. Um, but you're being led to these different realms by the creator of the mask shop, or at least the last mask maker, Prospero. And you come to find out that he's at some point conquered all of these different worlds. But as you explore them, you find totems or statues of the previous rulers of these different worlds, and these statues talk to you and they point you to towers that you're supposed to visit to get more of the story. Apparently there's more to the story than the narrator slash Prospero is telling you, and it seems like maybe there's an underlying bit of story that is yet to be uncovered. Well, the towers are the key to all of this, and the last mask in any of these lineages is the mask of the tower guard. It's the mask that's going to allow you to get into the tower. So what I've been doing is I've been unlocking that tower guard mask and then moving on to the next one instead of going in the tower, which is what most people would do, is just go straight into the tower. I'm going to unlock all the towers and then go into all of the towers in succession, just because I think that this underlying bit of the hidden part of the story, I think, is going to be the most rewarding part of the story. So I want to get it all at once. But I understand why other people might play it differently.
Dave wants to know how we feel about the spyglass. I don't know exactly if what you well, I mean, it seemed fine. I mean,
Works well.
yeah, it worked
Yeah.
well. Yeah. I mean, it's aside from taking it somewhere and specifically looking across a bridge gap to find the next puzzle, but it just seemed like another like a stepping stone to get to the next area, I guess. So,
Yeah, it served its purpose. I didn't have any issues with it. I don't know. I thought it was kind of cool. It seems like you can. There was at least a couple of areas that I came to that, if you look in the far distance, you could see a mask that it really isn't quite your time to catch yet. And using the zoom feature on the glass, you could get blueprints a little bit early, which I found was pretty cool.
that is
But
pretty cool.
yeah, I thought the glass was all right.
Okay. That was pretty cool. Dark Angel says Dono Arigato. Choo choo. 650. Appreciate it, bro.
Thank you, thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
650 donation. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. I thought she might be down for the Maskmaker talk. She likes the puzzlers, the flow weavers. I will say this, that a lot of the things I like about in Flow Weaver are better in this game. It's actually kind of a similar experience, only I would say that many of the mechanics are expanded in Maskmaker. Although Flow Weaver is great, don't get me wrong. The polish in this is just it's uncommon. There aren't a whole lot of games or experiences that I've been in that are polished like this. And again, the ones that I have been aren't games at all. They're experiences.
Yeah. Yeah. It was really good. Definitely very next level when it came to the storytelling. Did absolutely make that, just blew me away to the point where I was, it's not often when I'm playing a game like within the first 5 or 10 minutes, I say to myself, wow, this is really cool. You know what I mean? And I note that because I don't think that all the time. and I did about this. I just thought that the storytelling was just so good. So
Yeah, when you go to that first statue like we're looking at there, and it says come find me in the tower, and then like the Prospero, the narrator's like, what just happened? And he's telling you not to pay any attention to what you might hear when standing around the statues. That's when the story got really cool to me, because now all of a sudden this guy's trying to hide stuff from me, right? And then off in the distance, you see these towers, and they're fairly elaborate looking things. They're the type of thing that you want to go explore, right?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I don't know if I can
Uh,
hold off till the end.
Dave said that the glass was really wobbly on full zoom. Yeah, maybe a little bit for us, or for me rather. I didn't use it on full zoom a whole lot. Like most of the time, the medium zoom was enough if I had to zoom at all. But with that said, I would always use the if you let the spyglass go, it plants in the ground instead of holding it, and that seemed to steady it a little bit.
Mm.
Also, you know, the imperfections in the PlayStation VR tracking system could maybe cause a little bit of tracking noise that would have caused that as well. Now that said, if that's the case, certainly that should be something that they're able to stabilize with software.
I
So
think you nailed it, Wes. I think, and I never even really thought of it this way before, because I've put it down and it's stuck there, right? It's supposed to be. That's the what it's supposed to. You're supposed to do that. I bet you. I guarantee you. That's what you're supposed to do. It's got to stand. You stick it in the ground and it's stable. And all of us are doing this, and you're not really supposed to be doing that. That's what the stand's for. And now I will put that stand down every time. I didn't notice it being too wobbly because, like you, I didn't go into full zoom, but that totally makes sense. I think it looks like they designed it to be more of a telescope on a stand, right? A
yeah,
tripod.
you know who else Roots has been doing a lot of this?
My mom!
Oh yes, yes.
Dave says, "Nah, it's just my wobbly neck. PSVR tracking is okay." Yeah, I'm not. I'm a PlayStation VR guy. I've spent probably half of my total time, if not more, in PlayStation VR. I'm not a one to trash PSVR, but the tracking, even with the perfect camera setup, it's not ever perfect, really. I mean, um, I'm not trying to play down on the PlayStation VR tracking, but it is an imperfect setup, and it can cause, it doesn't take much weirdness to get a little wobble in your zoom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
See the sniper rifle in Arizona Sunshine. That you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, anyway, I'm trying to think about what we haven't said about this, because again, so much of what's good about this is the story, and I've probably already given too much of it away. Um, yeah. Well, what about puzzles, Roots? I mean, were there? I mean, I guess technically there are puzzles here, but it's really all about finding the right stuff, right? And uh, how it's about getting the items that you need across the broken bridges. That's really the most puzzling that I had to do, right? There's something on this island. You need it to be on that one. How are you going to get it over there? So I guess technically that's a puzzle, but I wouldn't really call this a puzzling game, would you?
No, no, because all the puzzles are very, very lead. Like even if you wait long enough, things start sparkling and stuff. Like it'll kind of lead you to it in a box where you need to grab something. Because there was a couple times I got kind of stuck, and eventually it kind of helps you along. I think it's more supposed to be a story and an experience, where you're doing things in there, to help it along, but it's not necessarily going to make you stop and think and try to solve puzzles. But of course, maybe they get more intricate and there are more puzzles as we go along. I don't know.
Yeah, Dave says that the problem he had with it is it's just unlocking new areas for the sake of it. Well, see, Yeah. Well, with me, it's unlocking new areas for the sake of unlocking new areas. Like I like exploring the new areas, and beyond that, we've already established here that the goal is to tell the story. That's the point of the game, is to unlock pieces of the story. And by unlocking the new areas, you're unlocking the story. You're getting more of it. So again, yeah, I could see why some people would think that the gameplay is boring because, at the end of the day, what are you doing really? You're just walking around and looking. There is no thing really that you're doing outside of making the masks themselves. So yeah, I get what you're saying there. It's certainly not going to be a game for everybody.
Yeah. Well, I get to be
Um,
the apprentice of the Maskmaker, damn it, and that was amazing. And
like for example, yeah, exactly. Like the one fun part of the game, the actual gameplay, is making the masks. And uh, rather than saying unlocking the new areas for the sake of unlocking them, I would say that it's more putting those new areas behind a new mask for the sake of making you make the mask, right? It isn't necessarily about having to do something to unlock the area or unlock the story, but it's also about making you go back and craft these masks, which is really the only real gameplay mechanic in the thing to begin with.
yeah. Yeah, and you could almost say, like we said earlier, it's somewhat of a walking sim with gameplay. You know what I mean? Like it's not even a walking sim; it's an amazing story. I think it's more of a way to look at it is you're being told a story in a unique way that has some really cool elements of getting to travel to new areas. But it
Yeah,
really is about the story, and the story is top notch, and it's what's going to get me to play more of it. It's not going to be the spyglass. It's not going to be the mask making. It's going to be the story, but the mask making is on top of it. Really cool. So
yeah. If you're a person who enjoyed these types of 20-minute animated experiences in VR, the really highly produced ones that cost a little bit of money, but you're always at the end of it saying, man, I wish that was longer, or I wish it was a little more interactive. If you're like me and you're saying that, then you're going to love this because it's exactly what you always wanted. It's hours long of one of these stories, and it's not only a little bit interactive; it's a lot interactive. It has some cool, unique mechanics, and I don't know, man. I just dig it. And again, not for everyone, but if you're into the storytelling, if you're into VR escapism and exploration, then you're probably going to like it.
yeah, and if you have Viveport Infinity, why not try it? It's free. So free is good.
See, PD says he would have liked to seen more puzzle elements to getting the ingredients. Well, yeah, sure, sure. I mean, there's certainly something to be said for puzzling, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time that PD would have enjoyed liking to bend his brain a little bit to get these elements. If it had been like that, do you think you would have liked it as much, Roots?
I might not, depending on how hard the puzzles are.
Right.
I like common sense puzzles. I don't like puzzles that I'm not. This is my thing, Wes, and maybe this is just thing. I like environmental puzzles and common sense puzzles. I don't necessarily want to be looking at every scrap of paper for a fucking code in the middle. You know what I mean? And have to go take it back to some other. To me, that is just next level
Now here's a
bullshit.
puzzle. Here's a puzzle right here, and we'll tell people to quickly turn their head because we don't want it to give it away. But I thought this was a pretty clever puzzle. Not exactly difficult at all, because they pretty much tell you what to do if you don't do it immediately. But it was still cool how the mechanic worked. I actually, with the puzzles that I did encounter, I really wish they wouldn't have held my hand so much and tell me how to solve them.
That's what I'm telling you. If you wait long enough, they're like telling you, dude, here it is, bro. Um, I wanna know exactly what happened with the apprentice. You know what I mean? Because clearly this guy, he's a mask maker. It's a dying art. He just wants to pass it on to somebody. He catches a kid trying to steal a mask, and he gives him an ultimatum. You know, either you're going to go to jail or you can learn to be a mask maker. And then it kind of goes into the story, right? And then something bad happens. And I don't know what happened, Wes, and it's really bothering me, Wes. I'm really
I
worried
have
about the mask maker, bro.
I have some ideas about what happened that I'm not going to share here because I don't want to ruin it. But I will say this: that there's more to find on in these worlds than just uh, things to make masks with. There's more than mask components that you can find. There's also artifacts that you can pick up that unlock bits of the story. So you'll hold it, it'll vanish into air, and then the narrator will give you a little bit more of the story. And I kind of feel like I know what's going on there, at least for the most part, with regards to the master and his apprentice. What I'm really looking forward to finding out is the story of what happened between King Prospero and the old masters of these worlds. That's what's really interesting me because I feel like there's more than meets the eye or the ear rather with our master here. So
Okay. Well, yeah, cool. Excited to find out, Wes.
anyway, PD saying good night to everyone. He's going to catch the rest later. Yeah, I can't blame you there, bro. We need to be wrapping it up. It's getting late here too. We did kind of get a late start though.
Yeah.
But really quickly, I guess we'll end this one off with I think it's a recommend on both of our accounts. Again, not for everyone, but if you like exploration and storytelling, if you like highly polished VR experiences, then at least on PCVR, this is one for you.
On a scale of 1 to Ghost Giant, how is the story?
I have not finished the game, so I wouldn't be able to rate it yet. I'm only about halfway through it. This is impressions, not a full review. But I mean, I don't know. Ghost Giant's a unique one. I did finish that one, and I mean that one. I mean, I would. It's a similar thing, right? Where that game was almost all story as well. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to that one either.
Yeah, good comparison.
Yeah, but I don't know. You'll have to get back to me on that one because I don't know. I keep saying this about every game it seems like, but I have every intention on finishing this one.
Yeah, well, I always say that too.
Yeah. Anyway, really quickly, I wanted to give some impressions on Carly and the Reaperman, and I know what some of you are thinking. Man, we already know about Carly and the Reaperman. It's been out forever. It was on PC forever, and then it came to PlayStation. It's been on PlayStation forever, and it's the same on Quest, right? Right. Roots, is it the same on Quest?
Well, for me, it was the same on Quest, but for you, it probably was not because I'm assuming
There's one big difference, right?
Yeah, well, see, my biggest thing, Wes, is I played it by myself, and I really enjoyed playing it by myself. You know, I think it's a very, very great way to play it. But I decided at one point I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna play with somebody else. And then they asked me for the code of the person's game, and then I realized I'm not playing with somebody else. Which kind of bummed me out. I wanted some kind of a way to like a queue or something. I queue up, someone else queues up, we join together and we hang out and we have fun. But apparently you can do it, but you gotta link up directly, which I'm assuming that's what you did with your kids, right?
Yeah. Really quickly, Acid 3 times says, when does Wanderer come out? I want to time travel. Wanderer will be out in either um, August or September, right? Because the trailer says summer. Everything else says Q3. So that really narrows it down, right? Summer, Q3. There's only a couple of months that is summer and Q3. So that's August to early September, right?
Yeah, that one looks good.
Or I guess let's see. I guess July technically, July or August probably, because September is well. I mean, I guess September's more summer than autumn, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I guess
Yeah.
only time will tell. Soon, several months, but not that long. So
Yeah, it won't be cold. We'll say
yeah.
that. It's still going to be in the summertime. So I would say end of summer would be what I would say.
The world will be back to normal. Everything will be fun. Everybody will be outside playing. So Wes, one of the things that stuck out to me, because the only way that I've really have played this, I've watched my daughters play this together, one on the TV, one inside VR, and I've played it in VR by myself on the PCVR. I didn't see any difference in this game on the Quest, and I had forgotten how freaking cool this game was, man. Like just the puzzles and the platforming and even just doing it by yourself is really cool, trying to move around these pieces and trying to figure out how to get across these areas. I just thought it was really cool, and I just had forgotten how cool this game is.
Yeah, man. Kind of interesting. We were just talking about Ghost Giant, and then we come into this Carly and the Reaperman discussion because it's kind of one of those mini diorama type games, right? That looks so cool in VR when you have everything down on this tiny scale. It makes you appreciate detail a lot more, I find, when you have everything shrunk down in front of you so that you can see more of it.
Yeah, I believe so. You know what's weird is the way that this video that I'm watching that I got is filmed, it makes me believe that both people are in on the Quest in VR, right? Um, because when I was playing, I couldn't see myself. Obviously, I'm the skeleton, and my little person is running around. Whereas now I'm able to look at the person, so that tells me the person filming is the little person. How cool would it have been if you could have done it from the eyes of the little person? You know what I mean? Instead of
Yeah.
that would have been something even more special than what this is, because it's really good the way it is. And I'm kind of jealous of how you got to play it with your kids, because I think that is the way to play it with somebody else, because it takes teamwork. You have to time everything, and it's hard. It's hard to time some of these platforms. You're moving, you have to move. Other things are coming that want to knock it down, so you have to do it in a small amount of time, and the person needs to be ready, and you end up killing them, and then people get pissed. So
Yeah. So I agree with you here. Although if the the smaller character, if it had been first person, that would have been a totally different game. So I totally understand why it's not like that. Now, with that said, I feel like we're kind of jumping the gun here, and we need to reset a little bit and tell people, in case they don't know what this game is. This game was originally on PCVR as a couch co-op game. So meaning that the Reaperman, the giant character, plays in VR, while Carly, the smaller character, is being controlled by someone playing on a screen with a controller. That, what I just said, the type of game that this was, is the entire reason that I've never played this game. Is because who wants to say, "Hey man, come over and play VR with me"? Only guess what? You don't get to play VR. I do. Or come over and play VR while I play flat games. Like nobody wants to do that. So this game coming to Oculus Quest has something that neither the PC nor the PlayStation VR version have or ever had, and that is the ability for both players to play in VR. This is absolutely huge because while the gameplay doesn't significantly change for the person doing the platforming, the smaller character, the perspective changes dramatically. Now you're in the world with the Reaperman. Your point of view is exactly the same point of view that the Reaperman has. It's all a little tiny diorama in front of you. Not only that, but you have the same ability to move through the world that the Reaperman has. Meaning, I don't know if any of you have ever played Gadgeteer, but you kind of grab the world and move it around you. They also do this in Down the Rabbit Hole. As you're moving down the tree, you're able to grab the world and just kind of move the world around you to get a new point of view. Now, I don't know if there was another way to control the camera on the flat version or not, but it was nice to be able to get these different perspectives from inside VR. That said, I had something else I wanted to say. Oh, of course. This game was ported into Quest, not by the original developers, but by our friends at Resolution Games, the people who brought us Angry Birds Isle of Pigs, Akron, Attack of the Squirrels, Blast On, and the upcoming DeMeo. So big thank you to them for giving us access to this. But Roots, I mean, this is the only way to play it, right? Is for both players to be in VR, because nobody who likes playing in VR would even ask somebody to come over and play a flat game. It's kind of a weird thing. So I kind of feel like this is the way the game should have always been played. But at the same time, I agree with what you're saying. I feel like this is a two-player game. I mean, it's cool that somebody can buy this and play it themselves if they want to. It's nice that they put a way in there for that to happen, but it's clear when you're making your way through these levels that this game wasn't designed to be played by yourself. And I got to imagine some of these timing parts had to be pure hell trying to do this by yourself.
It is very difficult, and you got to try. I mean, I think it's kind of cool that to maybe do it both ways, because it is a different perspective. You know, there's even parts where I'm looking at these lasers and I'm like, okay, I need to put this here and I need to put that there. And then I realize I also got to do the person, right? But the way that I'm holding my pieces is not going to flow. Like I need to put this one first. So I literally have to put this down and switch how I'm holding things because I have to do it quick. I got boom, boom. And then I'm running my person across quick and jumping. And it definitely makes it a little bit more difficult, but I really enjoyed it. I found myself going back into this game 2 or 3 times, Wes. I clearly had played enough to talk about it. Played it before, but I wanted to get further, right? I was getting to really cool levels where it was thinking outside the box, and I'm looking at all this stuff going on, and I'm trying to figure out, okay, how do I get my little character all the way to this hole at the next you know, it's just simple platforming. It just has that extra little bit of oomph, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. I would submit that by playing by myself, in some ways, it's easier because I'm all the timings with myself. You know, it's hard to time something with somebody else, especially when they're the ones running and jumping and you're laying stuff. But it does get ridiculously funny when you're killing each other, and if you're not pissed at each other, it becomes funny. I'm sure it probably was for you guys, right? So
Yeah, it's funny because like these platforms and things that the Reaperman is moving around that Carly gets to walk across, they're only solid for Carly when the Reaperman's not touching them. And even though that you're both in the world and you can see the Reaperman clearly if you're playing as Carly, the Reaperman can't see where you're at. So like it's pretty frequent while you're platforming, the Reaperman will come over and get right in your face and not know that you're there and block your view. So you can't see what's going on. And all it takes is one little second of not being on the same page, and the platform that you're standing on all of a sudden gets touched by the Reaperman and you fall right through it. So there's a lot of these little missteps that go on. And I got to imagine if you're not a patient person, it probably does get pretty frustrating. We just kind of laughed it off though, because we're not assholes.
yeah, well, especially like I said, I watched my daughter and her stepbrother, 10 years younger, play, and they bickered and fought the whole time. And then my daughters played it together, and it was like they were one person, you know, were just running through. And it was cool to
Right.
see it from 2 different perspectives. But I want to play this game sometime. We need to play this game in VR. I would love to play it because I didn't know that you couldn't see the person as the Reaper person. So
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things about this game. I enjoyed as we got into some of the more elaborate levels, um, taking our time and strategizing together, right? You go from one end of the map to the other. Some of these timed ones where you only have like, I think maybe even that might have been one of them. You only have so much time to make it to the other end. So you, before you even start the timer, you go through every little inch of the level. And Roots, we're not just playing to get to the end. You know me. I'm getting every one of those little
Oh
specks of light.
God.
I'm not leaving one of them behind. And and that's how we play it. We come up with a game plan to get every one of them. And I didn't miss any of them, Roots. I'm happy to say.
Oh, how cool. What a cool game to be able to play with your kids, right? Like just I'm sure they just really enjoy it. Yeah, no, I think this is definitely a really cool game, definitely worth playing. It says Ellen Cara says I don't think it's on sale, could be wrong, not my type of game. I don't think this is on sale right now. It just came out. What is it, $20? I'm not sure what the cost is on it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's $20. It's a $20 game, and I feel like it is a $20 game. Skipping to the end a little bit here, but I do feel like it is a $20 game if you like platforming. But again, it's a co-op game. I'm not so sure I would
Should try it.
just. I mean, I'm not saying you won't like playing it by yourself, but I can't confidently say, if you like platforming, go ahead and drop your 20 on this one. It's not that simple. But if you
Mhm.
like platforming and if you like co-op gameplay, it's a no-brainer at $20.
Yeah. It's kind of like a platformer mixed with Gadgeteer. Because you got all these different pieces and like some of them float in the air, and so you gotta, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I definitely think
Let me
it's
ask you this, Roots. There are certain areas and puzzles in this game where the Carly player doesn't see the platforms, but the Reaperman does. How do they deal with that in single player mode?
I would imagine that neither, I just won't be able to see it. I mean, I don't know, because I
I
got
mean,
to
you would
pick it
have
up.
to.
I got to pick it up to put it on there, right? They did have some
Yeah.
things that were disappearing and reappearing, but I guess there would be certain aspects of it that you couldn't fix, right? Like if
Right.
somebody needs to see it, I'm gonna see it. Just like I'm able to see the character as the Reaper guy. I'm the whole time I'm getting a watered down version because I'm not supposed to be able to see where she's at, right? Um,
Oh no,
so
you misunderstood what I meant when I said that. You know, you as the person controlling Carly in the world with the Reaper Man, looking at it from the Reaper Man's perspective, you can see where the Reaper Man is, and the Reaper Man can see where the Carly character is, but he can't see where you are, where your camera is. So he steps in front of you often
oh, I
and
got
gets
you.
in your way so that you can't see where Carly's at. And it's really easy to fall off the edge when you can't see, and then the other player's constantly stepping in front of you, obscuring your view.
Yeah,
That's what I meant by that.
I think I'd be stepping in on purpose.
Well, you wouldn't know where I'm at,
No, that's true. That's true. I'll
right?
be guessing.
But what I'm referring to here with these invisible platforms, there are certain levels where there's like an invisible bridge, but it's not a straight bridge. It
Right there.
turns. And right, exactly. This is exactly what I'm talking about. And you have to communicate, and the Reaper Man has to tell Carly where to walk. I can't imagine any way that they're able to do this single player. They just have to show you where the platforms are, right?
Yeah, because I can't lead somebody with my own hand that I can't see what's going on. That's really weird. And I do remember seeing this part when my kids were playing it, and it was really cool because that's exactly what you did. You just kind of moved your hand and said, "Okay, run to my hand," you know. I don't know how. So I feel like you can play it single, but it's not going to be the same experience. So
Right. Right. Dave says that Pixel Gear is worth buying on PlayStation VR because of the local multiplayer mode. I liked Pixel Gear, but I never played the multiplayer. I just played it as a wave shooter, and I bought it for $1, and I got my dollar's worth out of it for sure. I played it more than a handful of times and liked it.
yeah,
So
and we'll take talking in the chat any day. over not
Yeah,
talking.
for sure.
Yeah.
Talk all night, bro. That's I mean, shit, man. How much? How many times has he tipped us tonight, Roots? I
Yeah,
mean,
dude.
you say
Yeah,
what you
dude.
want, bro.
Yeah, you're the high tipper of the month for
Yeah,
sure.
feel free to say what you want. Come through with the hate speech. Even we're not going to kick you out.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no one here to get upset, and I am a big believer that
The
oh,
algorithm's always watching,
that's
Roots.
true. Well, you just gotta. I live my life by not taking offense. I'm just not gonna take it. So
There you go. Anyway, what else here with this? I had something else I wanted to say about it, but I think we lost our train of thought here
it
with
does
it.
have some pretty good puzzle aspects to it as well, not just moving stuff around. You know what I mean? It's really what I was gonna say. Yeah, it's good puzzles. So
You have to strategize with
yeah,
some of these levels. It's not as easy as just platforming. You know, it was one of the things I worried about going into the game. I mean, is it really just the big player moving boxes and boards around for the little one? I mean, that's cool, but it's going to get boring fast. But that's not it at all. The level design actually has a little challenge to it. You have to think about how you're going to do it, especially if you're getting all of those little fairies or light specks, whatever they are that you're collecting. Those are in tricky spots, and there are often things in the world that limit your time on any one platform. So if you're trying to get all that stuff, it requires a bit of strategy, and it's rather enjoyable.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And not only that, but every level, at least for so far that I've gotten, is gets more and more ridiculous. Right? It's like just more elaborate, more lasers, more this, more
Yeah,
that. You're
yeah.
like, you get there and you're like, the hell's going on in this place? And like you said, you're trying to figure out what's going on. I don't know. It's really good.
Find out a giant fish is trying to swallow you in the whole track. I mean, what the hell, man?
Yeah, it doesn't sound very good, does it?
What do you think about how the thing looked versus the PC / PlayStation version?
It's
I haven't played them, either of those, but I think that this was a pretty good looking game inside the Quest 2.
yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I don't remember exactly how good it looked or didn't look, but I did note when I was playing it that it looked really good. I like the atmosphere. I like the buildings. Even looking around. I guess that would be the one thing that I could see, and I don't know what the PCVR version is, but you've noted this in the past about the wallpaper look on the far away city. You know what I mean? Like everything that's close and everything in general, even the stuff that's not that close looks good. But if you look at the far, far distance in the sky or whatever, you can see like a wallpaper-ish Quest look. But
Right. And that was a bit low res, wasn't it? Like that was really my only complaint with the visuals at all, was that skybox was kind of low res.
yeah, if we had the discussion in the Discord like we did Star Wars, people would never shut up about Carly's skybox. It didn't look that bad, but it's just one of those things you notice as because I was looking around and I was marveling at all the buildings, and then it stood out against it, right? When I looked at the far distance, but and then ignored it again and went back to the gameplay. So
Yeah, it was sad too because you could tell that the art that they blurred down back there was actually cool looking art. It had a very Tim Burton esque flavor to it, and hopefully in maybe a future update, the Quest 2 will get some enhancement. Not that there's a lot of room for enhancement. Again, the thing looks really good other than that, but I would like to see that improved upon and see what those backgrounds look like in a higher resolution. That is assuming that they are indeed higher resolution on the other versions of the game.
yeah, I agree. Traveling Man wants to know when Ven VR is coming out for Quest 2. This makes me want to play that game instead. Well, I'll tell you what, Ven VR is an amazing platform as well. And I can't believe that we're that far away from it, right? From a release.
No, they quoted it for Q2, so I mean that's what, about 6 weeks left in that.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can't imagine it's not here soon, and it's going to blow up, dude. People are going to freak out. That's so good.
Yeah. VR, it's already been successful enough that 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 they're already planning to go flat with it, and, put a flat version of it out. Obviously, they're happy with the success that they've had, but you have to consider that they've still got PlayStation and Quest in front of them. They haven't launched on these yet. That game's going to be one of the titles of the year, and it's going to be weird not considering it for the overall game of the year. I feel like it's going to be that successful, but it didn't technically launch this year, so it can't be the game of the year. So it's going to be a little weird.
Yeah, I was thinking about something that about the game of the year, and maybe we can discuss it more, but just to address games like maybe we have a certain amount, 5 total at the end of the year, games that somehow flew under the radar. I think a Crashland or whatever that can be considered in the conversation for game of the year, but the caveat is they cannot have been mentioned at all in any conversation. Like it just was a game that just we didn't know existed in that time frame. But we can talk about it more, and maybe that's something that we decide that it just isn't gonna work with what we're doing. But I just think of games that just because we weren't aware of it, now it has no chance of being in the discussion for a game of the year.
Yeah.
It's weird to me.
Yeah, we should have some flexibility there. I agree.
Yeah.
But we can figure that all out later. Dave coming through with another $2, making sure he gets that caboose distinction.
He wants to. He said it's acknowledge me streamers, and we are acknowledging you. Dave Station VR is the best, and you know who else likes it in the caboose?
My mom.
Oh yeah, man, she's always taking it in the end. That's right.
Anyway, I feel like we've pretty much covered this one pretty thoroughly. I think it's a recommend. Again, kind of like Maskmaker, though, there are a few caveats here. You got to want to play this sort of game, but if you like this sort of game, if you like the platformer, if you like the co-op, then I think $20 is a very reasonable price for this. So I enjoyed my time in it. I know my daughter didn't want to quit playing it. But we had to get on here and try to get things lined out with Anthony, which we didn't even get that done. So I should have just kept playing, Roots.
I know, man. What the hell were we thinking? That's cool though. I told you this is the kind of game that kids really love, and there's nothing better than playing with Dad. You know what I mean? Like she's just loving it. So that's cool.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially, my kids, and I don't want to get on a big thing about my kids, but we're close family. We've homeschooled them their whole life. They like nothing better than mom and dad's attention, and I dread the day when that changes. Although I know it's probably soon approaching, but at least right now, my kids are still my kids, and they enjoy spending time with their parents.
Yeah, I haven't seen mine for months, dude. That's what happens when they hit 18, bro. Gone. So.
Yeah. Well, we'll have fun. I got a few more years left before we get there.
That's right. Yeah, and you got a couple necks to break of people that need to stay away from your daughter. So.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that's going to wrap us up. Oh, one more thing. I mentioned to you guys that I'd let you know tonight how we're going to do the Jupitergrad giveaway. We got a bunch of keys for Jupitergrad on PlayStation VR, also on Oculus Quest, and we're going to give them away. And I've kind of been rolling it around. I'm not 100% sure what I think we should do, but I'm thinking maybe Roots that I put a new gameplay video out for Jupitergrad and maybe hide a few codes in the video, and then have a comments drawing like we normally do for the others.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
I'm open to suggestions if you have a better idea.
Oh, not that I can think of. Dave says, did you guys hear that they rolled back that over 12 only thing on VR? As far as scientifically, they're saying that you no longer have to be over 12.
I think they turned in to Pop One and Rec Room and realized that people weren't fucking listening to it anyway, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a good way to make it sound like you're under control, right? Yeah, we
but I hope
changed our
that's
mind.
true. I hope they did because I always felt like that was kind of a liability thing anyway. Um, what it is there is some uncertainty about how children's eyesight develops between certain ages, and 12 being the upper end of that. Maybe they know a little bit more about it now. It was one of the reasons I've been looking forward to the varifocal from Oculus, because that completely eliminates the thing that they've been worried about with the way VR works now and how it affects eyes.
That's true.
So with my kids, it's always been a very limited thing that they get X amount of minutes, once a week. And then as they've gotten older, they've been able to play more and more and more. So, um, yeah, my oldest one, 14, she can pick it up whenever she wants. My 12-year-old just earned that right like a month ago. Now he can play whenever he wants. But the 10-year-old, he still only gets it for a little bit each week.
Yeah. Well, maybe with this scientific study changing, you could you could make an exception, and then your other kids would be pissed.
Well, anyway, be on the lookout for the Jupiter video. I'll try to get that out this week. And if you guys haven't played that awesome game, there's plenty enough copies for, I'd say that, I mean, if you're a regular viewer of this show and don't have that game, I've probably got enough copies for all of you. I got to imagine most people have this game or have Infinity One. You know what I mean? That most people that have been watching us regularly have access to it because it's so awesome, and we've been saying it since day one.
Yeah, absolutely.
But anyway, if you're interested in a copy of Jupiter on Quest or PlayStation VR, be on the lookout for that video. Hope to have that up in a day or two for you. With that said, I think we're going to wrap it up here. Of course, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell so you can know when the Jupiter video drops, or when the Sunday show drops, or when some of this cool stuff we've been spending all day's money on is going to drop. It's coming soon, and the only way you can know is if you're subscribed and have the bell enabled. Of course, for those of you who would like to support us a little extra, maybe you don't like uh, leaving us tips in the chat and you want to be a little more discreet, well, you can do that by supporting us on Patreon, where for as little as $3 per month, you can gain access to our weekly show notes, to the occasional insider report, and the even more occasional, apparently, money show, which is always awesome, and certainly worth your $3 monthly investment. And last but not least, we'd like to invite you to come and visit us in our home being our Discord channel. It's where we all live, laugh, and talk VR all the live long day. And it's a fun place to be, hang out, and we talk about a lot more than VR actually. So invitation is down in the description. And I forget who it was, whoever was asking me about the t-shirt link, hit that invitation and then hit me up, and I'll be sure to get that for you in case you want to order your Swarm t-shirt. If you order it now, you might have it by Christmas.
Yeah, best game of the 2021 in my opinion so far.
It's good, man. It's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, lots of cool new stuff coming out. Lots of cool new content coming out. Pay attention tomorrow, friends. Good stuff happening there. And with that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching. For Roots, I'm Wes. We'll see you next time, friends. Bye.
Take it easy.